this morning as we get going on what could be an interesting couple of days, couple of weeks even for the overall market here. We are still in negative territory for the Nasdaq to the tune of 0.14%. Currently, we will get a couple of interesting data points coming up this morning. Just keep in mind, 9:45 S&P Global Composite PMI and the manufacturing side going to come through at 9:45. 10 o'clock, we'll get existing home sales. A couple of Fed speakers today. Waller earlier this morning. Fed's Bowman coming up at 10 a.m., then Kugler later on this afternoon. We get a double dose of Powell this week as well. Tuesday and Wednesday, Powell testifying in Washington. So that's always leads to some sort of comment that moves the market. So we'll keep an eye on that again coming up tomorrow and Wednesday. Overall, that's how the market's setting up here to start things off. A couple of the early movers here. SMCI down on a $2 billion offering. Senior debt offering here this morning announced pre-market. We'll touch on that coming up. HIMS, the other one, off a cliff. Their deal with Novo no longer happening. Novo walking away from that. So session lows right now here for HIMS. Obviously, lots to keep an eye on the macro front after the weekend strikes in Iran. From the U.S., no significant fallout as far as the market is concerned. We did see a decent gap down Sunday night when futures open. We quickly regained all of that, and here we are back to basically where we ended off on Friday.
See if they close the Strait of Hormuz, and by doing that, the barrel goes up, and by that, obviously, inflation goes up, and that's why we saw Bitcoin sell off aggressively last night as well, still being traded as a risk asset, not a risk-off asset, so we'll keep an eye on that. There's a lot to talk about today, Brendo. Circle up again here in the pre-market to the tune of 4.5%, and oh yeah, yesterday, Austin, Texas, Robotaxi unveiling. Lots of YouTube videos about that. That was actually quite interesting to watch. And some of the features that we didn't know that were going to be included. I was telling you off camera, your profile set, your Spotify's ready, your Netflix is all tuned up, Brendo, so you can just DJ in the back super quick.
Put the feet up and relax a little. Yeah, Tesla up nicely here, 1.3%, trying to get back above 326.50 right now. It's been a gappy kind of few days here for Tesla. We kind of gap up, continue, and then gap up again on Friday, and then give it all back really quick. So here we are. We'll see if this one holds. But yeah, it seemed to be without any kind of glitches or problems or major upsets anyway.
And they're being quite cautious, like they've geofenced it. It's only a certain part of Austin. There's only about 10 of these things driving around the city, and there's a safety driver.
Yeah,
so.
Yeah, and that's how, I mean, to be fair, that's how Waymo works.
Exactly.
Too. It's like in a grid, and they can't go outside of the grid. So if you want to jump in a Waymo, you got to be within that grid. Same story with Tesla's Robotaxi, guys. Happy Monday.
Yeah, happy Monday. Things heating up a little bit for Tesla there. And also for the Nasdaq, because we just went green. Like 2 seconds ago, we just went green on the Nasdaq. The ES exactly flat, maybe 0.01% up. And unless you're looking at HIMS, which is bad, or, well, there's a lot of things that are down. There's nothing terribly ridiculous in terms of gap moves. Like Circle's only up 4%, so it's not even gapping that far. But that HIMS losing on Novo, not a good deal there. We were just talking to Steve on Friday about how well this stock had been doing. So yeah, it's not all good. Obviously, geopolitical concerns. Look, unless you're trading oil, energy names, defense names, I think we overreact a little bit here. That said, it would be somewhat of a shock if the Strait of Hormuz did get closed. That would be a big shock if we actually heard anything along those lines. But I think you're looking at energy names for volatility if you want to respond to what happened over the weekend. I don't like what I saw in Bitcoin, however. They sell it, they sell it, they sell it, and it never seems to be a flight to safety. The US dollar went up. Seems like they still want to go there when they want to feel safe. It is what it is.
Yeah, Bitcoin is fine. I mean, it's 101.5 right now. I mean, I think when we left it on Friday, it was 104 and change. So I think we're fine. 101 change. Yeah, welcome everybody. Yeah, HIMS is a funny one here, losing Wegovy, Novo Nordisk. There's a huge move to the downside. Everyone was horned up about it. You talked about Steve Teilman. It's his largest position. And now you're getting that huge move. What's up, Randy? Right back into $50 again. So we're gonna have to wait to see if it can hold. I'm gonna be watching this one, $47 to $48 there on HIMS. coming through. So losing that Novo Nordisk, I guess. Well, we'll read the story more here. Termination cuts off key distribution channel for Hims and Hers weight loss offerings. So short float of 32%. So maybe it gets back to the upside there. But yeah, when you're not, when you're not getting the nice response there, I mean, I guess they can make a deal with somebody else, but I don't know enough about this story, so we're going to wait. But $50, pretty key here on Hims coming through. And then, of course, yeah, we're going to be watching. I mean, my number one trade today is going to be Tesla. Just a matter of what price we get in at. I'm thinking, the pre-market high break, this 328 is probably good enough for me. I want to check out what Coinbase was doing. Coinbase had a huge run as well, 303, and it was super hot. It was feeling like 40. I saw it yesterday. It was feeling like 46. Silly. So 46 Celsius is like 90, high 90s, I would think at least. So yeah, it was a really, really warm day we were on the 3 different baseball diamonds yesterday, so it was pretty exciting there. Palantir today, 138, so that's still holding out pretty nicely as well. I wasn't here Friday afternoon, but doesn't look like too much happened there. There's Palantir, pretty flattish there into the close. So up 0.8 right now, like one of the bigger ones to go to the upside. I always want to see Apple around $200, and it's now above $200.
Apple caught a really strong bid late at the day. There wasn't a lot in terms of the imbalances. Like there weren't a lot of big numbers. I think it was kind of like a nothing burger, unless you were watching CME Group. That was the most ridiculous move on Friday with CME Group. But Apple caught a big bid at the end of the day. That's worth watching. By the way, that it's for anyone out there, well, all of our U.S. Viewers, if you're looking in Fahrenheit, with the humidity here yesterday, it would have been the equivalent of 115. Like Arizona type temperatures, completely insane. I was at the Jays game. The dome was closed because of how hot it was. They're like, yeah, we got to close it and pump the AC because no one wants to be in that heat. So yeah, it's gonna. And I think we get that today and then tomorrow a little bit.
You were there yesterday?
Yeah, I was there yesterday.
Oh no, they lost.
Oh no, I'm the jinx. I am the jinx. So we figured it out because we're 1-7 at the games we've been to this year, and the one time they won, we bought Erin Twizzlers. She wanted Twizzlers instead of popcorn. So if we buy popcorn, Jays lose. If we buy Twizzlers, apparently the Jays win.
Yeah, well, that seems like an easy thing to solve.
Well, I love Twizzlers, so it's easy enough for me.
All right, good. Yeah, so fun times around here. Hope everyone has a great day. Yeah, surprised that the market's up as much as it is, and it looks like it's going higher right now. So, dip by all the problems in the world, and you'll be fine. I mean, that seems to be what the solution is. I did want to look quickly here, because we talked about digital gold, and that's the difference about buying Bitcoin versus buying IBIT. Right, like you could have bought Bitcoin yesterday, 98 and change. Right now, you're coming in today, and if you haven't bought, then you're going to be paying 102 or 103 probably IBIT, right? And because when this market opens up, maybe you're at 102 already. So you put a market on open order on IBIT, and you're getting $3,000 higher than you would have got last night just trading Bitcoin by itself. All right, so GL, but you have no idea, right? You have no idea the predictions of the prices, but there goes gold as well. As the market starts to head back up to the upside a little bit, gold slipping the other way. And then XLE, of course, well, we can talk about oil itself, but XLE going downside here. So, yeah, lots of stuff going on today. Let's go back over to the desk and figure out what, I guess we have Michael Noss coming soon, maybe.
Good.
We'll get to Michael Noss coming up here in a second, but as we're mentioning, to kick things off, going to be an interesting couple of days here. Again, Tuesday, Wednesday this week, we'll hear from Fed Chair Powell in Washington coming off what happened last week. We'll also get GDP this week. We'll get a reading on PCE at the end of the week. We'll also get Michigan consumer sentiment at the end of the week as well, which is the final reading. Again, an inflation portion tied into that. I mean, how many different ways can they phrase the question of how will tariffs affect their policy going forward?
Yeah.
How will this geopolitical stuff affect their policy going forward? And how many different ways is he going to say, I can't answer that, and we're just going to look at the data.
And they'll ask him about more stuff, Brendo. Now they'll ask him about oil with the Middle Eastern stuff coming in to play. Obviously, so what I'll be keeping an eye on here is the dot plot that we got last week. It changed the outlook for what most Fed presidents were looking for in terms of rate cuts. We had a bit of a decline in the amount of people that were looking for a rate cut this year. I think about 7 or so were looking for one rate cut, with a couple, with about 8 looking for more. And there were some that were looking for for no rate cuts. So I'm sure he'll be pressed on that. I'm sure he'll be pressed on the comments that Donald Trump made as well regarding him last year. And yeah, it's been quite kind of a topsy-turvy time at the Fed with no real clear direction here, Brendo. Sometimes we're looking at 2-3 rate cuts. Sometimes we're looking at none.
According to Trump, 2.5. What was it? 2.5 points. What was the last one he was saying needs to come off immediately?
Immediately.
Market clearly doesn't need that, though. I mean, we're still, just a couple of percentage points away from all-time highs here. So, what actually does happen to the market when we do eventually get? I mean, I just looked at the CME Fed Funds tool there. It's still showing up to 2 by the end of the year. So, I mean, when those do finally come around, it's almost like they're going to be priced in at that point.
It feels that way. It feels that way. The only kind of the curveball that we got was the dot plot, and we hadn't gotten one since March. It was the first updated one since the spring, and like I was saying, a couple of Fed chairs, presidents were looking at no rate cuts for the rest of the year.
Yeah. So we'll see how this plays out. Meanwhile, as we said, let's bring in Mr. Noss here and talk a little bit about the overall market. As we head into, what's going to be an important couple of days here, Michael Noss, as we were saying, with a whole bunch of really key economic data points to come this week before we get to Friday, and then we hear from Powell in the middle of that as well. Separate all of that, and then anything could happen at any point with what's going on over in the Middle East. You found a couple of interesting points when it relates to the Middle East and the overall market here.
Yeah, it's strange that I seem to come on every time I come on. It's like, okay, now we have to go back in history and see where this really rare event happened and what has happened in the market after it. So, of course, right, over the weekend, we had U.S. involvement in the whole Iran-Israel thing. So what I did is I went back and I said, okay, every time, let me look up every time that there's been some sort of massive bombing campaign or something to this effect, what happened to the overall markets. And, this is one of those things I do on the weekend, and it kind of makes me feel a little bit better. I know there's a lot of, especially if you're on Twitter, there's a lot of panic about, we're going to gap limit down or whatever. Of course, that isn't what happened. But we'll be able to kind of go through a lot of these events and see what happened here. So I don't know, anything about everything I learned about like news and geopolitical stuff is kind of against my will. But I just went to ChatGPT and then we just went back in the time. We found in chronological order, which again, I always think that when there is a large event that occurs, this is good to do. It's good to go, okay, if we had a similar event, what happened in the chart? And you don't have to get all fancy with, tables and, percentages and that. Just go look at the charts. That's what we're going to do right now. So this is March 20th of 2003, which was Operation Iraqi Freedom. So this was the beginning of the Iraq-Iran, I guess, war way back in 2003. Thankfully, I'm not that old, so I don't really remember this one. But this is the orange line, always is the day that the thing started, and then what we're looking for is what happened the next day, and then what happened in the following weeks and months. You can see in this case, green day and a green gap up the next day. So it doesn't seem like this is a super terrifying event for this one. This next one is a Iraq-Syrian conference, Operation Inherent Resolve. That was one of the weirdest things, looking all these up. They all have really cool sounding like Tom Clancy names. But again, you could see the day it happened, a big green candle and then an uptrend after that. Again, no one likes war, but it seems like we need to take a look at what happens from a market's point of view, because the market doesn't seem to mind that much. So the next one is in 2016, which was in Libya. And you can see pretty much no action, right? So that day was also green, and pretty much no action after that. If we go down to the next one, which was another Iran-Iraq Soleimani drone strike. So this was 2020. I think I remember this being talked about in the news a bit. But again, next to no little green action, next to no market reaction. And then the next one, again, I think you guys are starting to get the thing here. This was a Yemeni strike in Yemen. Again, a little bit of a green day. Almost no action after that. And then also, last but not least, was 2024, which was an Iraq-Syria airstrike. And again, a little bit of green day and almost no action. So even though there doesn't seem to be any sort of definitive trend based off these that I can see. I do think when you get an event like this, instead of, popping on to social media like I did right away and seeing all the people who are, fear mongering and all of this, we live in a world now where this whole process took me maybe 10 minutes to go to an AI and say, right, list out all of the major times that the US, did some sort of major bombing in the Middle East. And then I just went to the chart and marked those up. And I think this is a good exercise for you guys to do. I hope I don't have to keep coming on every Monday. And there's another event that we have to go look at the history of because it's so rare. But in this case, it just by doing this, I said, okay, so the market's not going to react too much for this. So like Brendan was just talking about, we got to start looking at other things. We got to start looking at what are they thinking about the Fed, what economic numbers are coming out, and just make sure this isn't a huge part of the equation based off what bias we have going into the trading day.
First thing I did on the weekend was pull up, obviously the market was closed, but I pull up a futures chart and actually look at overall on a higher time frame where the market is, and if we did get that gap down this morning, as I think the entire world on social media anyways, as you were alluding to, was anticipating where that would put us. The first chart then I pulled up when I got here this morning was the VIX. Wasn't really doing much. So when you consider, an event of that magnitude really doesn't bring any volatility with it when you come in and get the first chance to trade it on a Monday. I mean, to get to some sort of look forward here, what is it that you're keeping your eye on, I guess, that's going to be the next catalyst, that's going to give that market move that you want to trade?
Well, I think this may have been the catalyst, but just kind of in a strange way. We talk about it all the time in the after hours show. I talk about it with Neil all the time. We don't really care too much about the news, but what's the market reaction to the news? And you mentioned yourself, we gapped down in the Sunday overnight session, but it was immediately bought up. It's like people just waited for that gap down and bought up. So I look at that and say, okay, that means there is a demand still out there for stocks, and people are using every chance for, I think it was like a 1% gap down or so in order to buy. So that might be part of it, that we're just seeing more institutions using any sort of down move to accumulate. But to be honest, I think to get us to that all-time highs and through that all-time highs, it's got to be a Fed thing, right? And I know that we've got now, bullying going on and name calling. I saw a lot of things. I don't know if that's going to get it moved, but when I was in the green room, you guys were already talking about, we have 2 cuts already kind of priced into the market. I think it needs to be kind of an additional cut or a cut quicker, or even, the way J-Pow works, even if he hints to a cut at this point, I think that's what we need in order to get going.
If we come in, just to go back to the VIX, just briefly here, if we're getting excited about a move from 15 to 18 or 16 to 19 type of thing on the VIX, where we saw a VIX of 50, 60, 70 plus, just going back a few months ago, like that's just not going to move the needle at this point. One thing that Sharif and I were kind of alluding to was the simple fact that being so close to all-time highs, it almost feels like this market at least has at least one of these cuts priced in at this point.
Yeah, and I think we're just desensitized to everything, and this happens. And if you look at the chart on the S&P 500 during the last Trump administration, this is kind of what happened as well, right? We know, love them or hate them, that there's going to be a lot of news coming out. There's going to be a lot of changes, a lot of things moving around. And in the beginning, there was a lot of big market reactions to it, and then eventually, I think the market just gets a little bit climatized and desensitized to it, and we start to look at earnings, and we start to look back at the fundamental things that matter. So I think it's kind of the same way. I'm still I came into the year saying I think this year is going to be a choppy year. Obviously did not think a 20% up move and 20% down move is chop, but I'm still kind of in that camp. We have to remember that the last 2 years were 20% up moves. So having a consolidation, not only after 20% up moves, but the market has rallied 25% off the lows. I really think that we should just sit back and kind of enjoy the fact that there's some low volatility, make some shorter term trades, and then just wait for the market to break out in order to get too excited just, getting into something long, because this could go on forever. We got the summer coming up. It could be months that we're sitting here.
Good stuff. Michael Noss, back with us after the close tonight. We'll see you then.
Talk to you then.
Yes, thank you, Michael. And I guess you could also just not be worried and buy AMD apparently. because making another strong rally this morning is Advanced Micro Devices. It just went about $1.50, breaking through 130. And what's interesting about this, they did have their own small news story there, nothing gigantic. But what's interesting is, hey, you've got NVIDIA down almost a full %. So it's not every chip name flowing together. I know this has already been true. Just from one thing I'm reminded of was how strong this was right off of the open on Friday, only to give it all back. This is like, it was back by the time we ended the morning show for you guys. AMD was underneath where it started despite this. So I think you got to play this with a little bit of caution. I'd want to see 130 hold. The volume weighted average price, afternoon resistance, 130 is pre-market highs, like all that kind of good stuff. If we do get a dip right at that 132 half like we did on Friday, then I want to see 130 hold and see some buying out in front of it, because AMD rocket ship, but it was crazy, that reversion that you saw earlier. But yeah, market is now, maybe we're green. I don't want to say solidly green because 0.1 isn't anything crazy, but you know, like Michael said, I just think, unfortunately, I know it's bad news and everyone gets all doom and gloom. You just go back to where you were before, and strong stocks are strong stocks. Play the momentum where it is. Obviously, not everything is strong today. Like, look at a HIMS, look at SMCI. We'll maybe talk about that one a little bit later, but AMD has been a strong stock. I'd love to see it hold that 130 for a dip buy.
Look, AMD is right here. It's on the sticky note here. We have a 132 breakout or a 129 dip buy. We've got Tesla, Apple, HIMS, everything all over the place here. Go check it out at Trader TV, Sean. But here's HIMS right now. $53 is VWAP. You're starting to break lower and lower and lower here on HIMS. So there it goes. Nice move to the downside. Right now, as they lose Wegovy, Novo Nordisk. So that's not great. There's a lot of people in this name. It's 32% short. The shorts finally get to ring the register here today on HIMS as that keeps coming back in. So yeah, thanks, Michael, for doing that. Just showing us that, you know, even these CMTs are using ChatGPT. The first thing he goes to is ChatGPT. So, you know, it's a quick, easy way to look at things. And I think Michael's dead on with trying to figure out, you know, where this market's going. And we've been here before. War times have been good times for the stock market. So, you know, without too much, you know, I mean, until there's, you know, an actual response or retaliation, I guess, from Iran, other than, you know, what they've been doing in Israel, I don't know if it becomes real until, you know, something bigger happens from Iran, which I'm hoping is nothing. And I hope that this does, you know, start a discussion. And yeah, anyways, that's what HIMS is doing. This is what oil is doing right now. CL, let's go to, I don't know. No, it's the other one. It's not N.
My bad.
That's okay. I was going to go with August. Anyways, so here's the August contract right here on CL. So it's probably more like it right there. So you can see oil here today. It's not even doing much. It's actually down 0.19%. So yeah, it seems like what everyone maybe thought was going to be a flight today is kind of the opposite, because even gold themselves down as well. So I mean, how many problems do we have to solve here? I think a lot, but you know, the market seems to be still holding highs here on gold, and if anything, coming back in a little bit. So I think you should buy some GLD at some point if you're nervous. I don't know if it's a hedge, but just something else to put into your portfolio. Look, I think Bitcoin gets to 102 before we even open up. So right now it's 101.5. Let's see what happens with Bitcoin. Is there DJT news? People might want to message that. And then we're going to go to Adara with upgrades and downgrades. So right now, DJT, yeah, so nice move up there on DJT. 1750 up to 1850. Echo Charlie Delta Alpha. Okay. Automotive design company. So these guys are doing Bitcoin now, by the way. Echo Charlie Delta Alpha, ECDA, something about Bitcoin, and they are a automotive, what does it say here? Automotive design company setting up some sort of a Bitcoin reserve. There goes ECDA. Just in, Trader TV Live, buying millions of Bitcoin.
Boom.
Yeah, we don't have.
The thing is, we need a stock.
We need a coin or.
We need something that would go up in the event of that.
But there it goes right there. If you can't design automotive parts properly, maybe you just have a. Anyways, these guys.
It's a simple shift.
These guys were $1 back in March.
Yeah, QUBT needs to do that. We're gonna go quickly over in just a second. But yeah, QUBT with a 14 million share private placement. So this one in the other directions. Apparently they should have just bought Bitcoin.
I mean, apparently, I think all these quantum names are heading cut in half from here. For sure, if not lower. But you know, we'll wait to see, man. I mean, they're starting to go. QBTS's high was 20. It's at 15. I mean, does that mean we get to 10? Maybe. I mean, they're good buy opportunities. It's just feels a little bit in some of these names, and of course Oklo, the nuclear name as well. Some of them just feel a little bit spicy right now, and maybe topped out when everyone's looking at Circle and CoreWeave and all those things now. Okay, it's Adara. She's got the upgrades and the downgrades.
One name that was certainly spicy last week is actually the top of the upgrades this week, and it's AMD Advanced Micro Devices with a $175 price target from Melius, which upgraded it from a hold to a buy. You can read all about this on our Trader TV Live watch list, and also about Kathy Wood's purchase of the stock as of Friday. DoorDash getting an upgrade here from Raymond James. We have Estee Lauder with an upgrade from Deutsche Bank. And last but not least, on the upgrade side of things anyway, DraftKings getting a positive note from JP Chase. Let's move to the downgrades here. AST Space Mobile, or ASTS, which actually has about a 27% short float. The downgrade here from Scotiabank. Then we have Couchbase with a Robert W. Baird downgrade and a $25 price target this morning. Dow Chemical here, or Dow, with a downgrade from BMO Capital Markets. And last but not least, Lineage being upgraded by JP Chase. Quite a few interesting names, especially on the upgrade side of things, guys. Back to you.
All right.
Yeah, I mean, AMD, which we just mentioned, so won't go over AMD again, but that'll get talked about plenty enough here today. But ASTS at the high, ASTS on the topping the downgrade list when it just made a fresh 52-week high on Friday. Because logic, that's how it always works. That said, it was this is usually like a pretty solid reversal pattern. It closed at 40, 46 bucks. You can see the topping tail in there. Kind of trying to set up a head and shoulders type play. If it wasn't for the fact that QUBT, HIMS, Indo, I'll be looking at Indo and Energy today. There's enough flyers around there, but I think like ASTS, if it can, I'd play off the 46 level, obviously, but there's actually no volume here, only 300,000 shares. But it's setting up a little bit of a head and shoulders. It looks like you get that downgrade coming off of a high. Maybe you get a rejection of 46. Looks like a pullback into 42 would make sense. But yeah, I'll be more interested in HIMS, Circle, certainly Indo today as we talk a little bit of energy. I don't know if we're going to get into that on the watch list, but Indo looks like it's primed to break out. 6.25 is a local high here. I even like a dip buy into 550. Or it may not be doing much, but this tends to do well when there's just a threat because it's more of a squeeze play anyways.
It's your first day of summer trading today. I just want to say I'm probably going to be in Tesla before the market opens. I'm taking a 328 break. So it's sitting right here. I'm going to take it in the pre-market. We'll just try to get a small piece as we build into a unit, 2 units, and then hopefully have more than that once we open up. So 328, I just want to bring that to everyone's attention. We're getting close to breaking it. We almost did right there. So we're going to watch out for Tesla breaking through 328 to start the day. And yeah, of course, we go here. We say happy Monday to everybody else. Some feeling like that. Get some carrot juice in your system there today. And I don't know the last time I had carrot juice, but if you were a rabbit,
yeah, I'm sure they like it.
Potentially, I have like the
Carrot
all
juice.
Greens drink every morning. So
I know that.
that's nice. Yeah, the AG1 stuff, but it's something from Costco. I don't know. It's a wellness natural path. I don't know what it is anyway.
I know a couple people that do that.
Yeah, good. I like doing that. BlackBerry right here.
Really?
Yeah, something QNX, Vector, Signs, MOU. Okay, so it's nothing. I thought maybe it would be moving. Any kind of BlackBerry news, sometimes we get something, a memorandum of understanding with Vector. So anyways, not doing anything for BlackBerry. And how low can Rivian go, one may ask. How about lower? Right now, 1350 right now for Rivian, as all the shine is off of this company, and right now on another EV name, in which we're going to be talking about very, very soon. But yeah, no, I mean, I don't want to say it's going too much lower, but I think that if you like Rivian and it's down here into this area, 1250, great. Yeah, I still care, like, a move from 1250 up to 17, I still, you know, a little bit upset there that we were waiting for a little bit higher. But we'll wait to see what happens with Rivian today. And then some of the Bitcoin names as, DKNG, that was upgraded, so that's nice. We're in this name here. Shout out to the OKC Thunder there. As I saw on ESPN or something, because of all the trophies and everything, Shea had the greatest year in NBA history or something like that a player could ever make or something like that. It was like all the MVPs, All-Star Game, league, season, championship, the finals MVP.
No one's ever, Michael never did that. Michael never won an
I don't know.
All-Star
I saw that.
MVP?
I don't know.
I believe you.
I don't know. Well, they just said it was the largest, most successful, whatever they said, season of all time. But
that was tragic, by the way. It was hard to watch Halliburton go down.
All right.
Triggering, obviously, for me, too.
So it shows me long in Coinbase, but I just wanted to say something. I wasn't here on, I wasn't here on Friday, and I guess my market on close order, it left me with a small piece. So I'm actually just going to punch out of this. So it's a $3 winner, but it's a small amount of shares. So I'm just going to punch out. I just want to explain why that Coinbase shows up there. So you can't hold overnight positions. You're completely responsible for them. So even if this stock was down like $100 from here, this position would still be mine. So, but anyways, that's why it's there. All right, it's 9:01. We have the watch list. We have lots of stuff. Make sure you do scan, not that QR. Well, you can scan that QR code, but we have the watch list. It comes up. Also, link in description. Make sure you go get it. There's everything in this watch list today. There's crypto. There's small runners. There's big names. There's energy names. There's lots full. Make sure you go into the description, get it. It's completely free. When I saw this pop in, I thought maybe Tesla was the one that was popping, but Tesla's actually dropping. Not popping.
Is it locking though?
I had like a little bit. I guess I didn't put enough suntan on here. Oh, that ELF suntan stuff is great, by the way. There's I forget, it's a color, or I forget what it's called. It feels so nice. Ramin knows what it is on your skin there, but it's really nice. You should get it anyways. If you don't have it, some sort of forget about that Hawaiian tropic crap. No, it's not about that, man. There's some sort of an ELF product.
Like a million different types.
It's clear. People would know what it is anyways.
Okay. Maybe we'll take some camping.
You should. It's really good. But anyways, all right. So let's go back. No, I'm not in Tesla yet. So people asking me about Tesla. No, 328. As soon as we break that, my order is going in. And we got pretty lucky that we didn't get in. It got up to 327.90. And then I'm also going to play a dip buy. But we're going to be talking about Tesla momentarily, I'd assume. So let's go back over to the desk.
One more here. RZLV moving around here this morning, coming back in a little bit. This thing's going into the Russell 2 and 3,000 AI stock as well. A couple of people were mentioning that. So another one for you to look at later on today, probably.
Super pumped.
See if it gets going. Anyways, but let's have a look at the market.
60.18, guys. That's where we closed out Friday on the ES September contract, guys. We're on the new contract now, September 19th contract. We closed out at 60.18 with the overnight high being essentially 60.40, 60.39. So we're going to use that same level of resistance and support. We've been talking about 6,000 as support, Brendo, 60.50, excuse me, as resistance.
If you haven't done so yet, make sure you take a second, jump down to the description of this video. Top link in the description will get you to that page. Then all you need is your email address to sign up for the watch list. Has everything on it in the morning that's moving around, and a little bit on why. Let's talk Tesla. Right back to session highs at this point, or trying to get back to session highs, up 1.5% here, versus a market that's basically flat. Here's Dan Ives, obviously. Very impressed, yada, yada, yada. We know how he rolls. But yeah, if you missed it, weekend launch successful, seemingly, for the Robotaxi.
Yeah, nothing bad happened. That's good. Not a big rollout, but not bad. Let's talk about what happened here. They launched a small fleet of driverless Robotaxis yesterday in Austin, marking the first deployment carrying passenger vehicles. Rollout includes about 10 vehicles, Brendo, operating in a limited area with a front seat safety monitor. The rides are priced at $4.20. Very Elon-esque there for flat fee. Tesla's AI chips and software are obviously built in-house and being used here. It was an influencer-led launch, so Tesla invited a bunch of social media influencers for a controlled pilot, including orders via the dedicated Tesla Robotaxi app. Early footage showed rides beginning in South Congress, the area of Austin, with a clear absence of human drivers. They are operating under the new Texas AV law, which passed it's effective September 1st. It's already been passed. It gives permits for autonomous vehicles. The law allows the state to revoke permits if public safety risk is not upheld. And Tesla will kind of limit the rollout here. It's going to be a limited service scope, Brendo. They're going to avoid bad weather. They're going to avoid complex intersections, and they will not cater to minors under 18. You got to be over 18. Musk emphasized the company will be super paranoid, to use his words, about safety in the early stages.
Yeah, and they should be, obviously. I mean, it's a data gathering experiment at this point, which is great. I mean, the more the better. What do we do here, guys? Looking pretty strong versus the market for Tesla today.
Look strong versus the market. It was already, look, you were gapping up on this news. Nothing crazy, but Tesla has been holding out the last 2 weeks. It's been holding out this 200 period moving average, which is great. And it's been upward sloping, higher lows with one exception. We had one day with an exception for the higher lows last week. And I like that trend. I was sitting there watching 320. If you watch, it was a telling shot. At the close, yesterday. At the close on Friday, the stock that had everyone's attention was CME, which is a weird thing because you never see that happen. But while that was going on, you saw Tesla double bottom at the 320 level, another higher low in the afternoon at the same place. So I want to play the stairs to the upside. I'm favoring dip buys because it was there were a lot of really good reversions on Friday, bouncing through. 320 is the obvious level. Our close price at 322 is the buy zone I like here on Tesla. It's the only, not looking at any other EV names. You mentioned Rivian. I'm not really, every now and then when we talk about Tesla, I'll throw that one up there, but until that either breaks out or give us like $10 or $11, Tesla's the game in town. Obviously, it was a bit of a limited launch, but we knew that was likely to be the case. And as they start to get this rolled out, it's a big deal for the company, as far as everybody knows. And the fact that we're getting it on track, I think is just positive news. So I'll be buying this dip back into prior close, into where those buyers stepped up on Friday.
Yeah, we have it. We have a couple trades on our note there. 328 break. I mean, I think you got to play that for sure. What's up, Randy? As we try to pray that for Tesla there on the Robotaxis. Of course, there was people in the Robotaxis. The employees were in there. They weren't completely humanless. But, so that's a dip buy opportunity, a breakout there. And the dip buy for me is this 324, the 200 period moving average, basically where we were on Friday. Dip down. Oil's not doing anything today, actually, Randy. We sort of talked about that quickly. We'll look at that in a minute. But 324 and change right now for Tesla. I just wanted to so we went to the Minecraft experience. Oh, here's Randy and I. Hey, Randy, here's this handsome devil. Randy, this is when he blew through the screen there. I feel like a wrestler when you're coming out of this thing. It's like and they coming in here.
We need music.
Doing that. But here's the Minecraft experience that we went to. This is something that's live now in Mississauga. You get your own little Minecraft thing, and you get to, there's my kids, and there they are, there I am too. You get to hammer, beat up these guys. There we go. Whoopsies. Oh, that was quick. Anyways, this was fun. We did this on Thursday, the Minecraft experience. I think it's too expensive, but there, look, so you do your own, you stand there and you break little things. Oh, there we go. Anyways, that's the Minecraft experience there. Yeah, fun times. I was looking on Instagram because the sticky note will also be up there. But yeah, 323 to 324 dip buy. I mean, I'm there for that for sure. And I'm also here for that break. I mean, the break's going to happen quickly. The imbalances will come out at 25. So right now it's just HIMS with a big sell-in, but well, not even really that big. Already 15 million shares, 500,000 right now. But yeah, so there it is. That's HIMS. Tesla, we're going to go over HIMS in a minute, of course, as you can see it on our chat, with oil coming up next as well. But there's Tesla making a little bit of a move down. I really like this 328 break. It'll probably be the first trade that I'll make today. So we'll wait. But yeah, excited about Tesla. Oil trade up next.
Just reading a note here on Google as well. It didn't do anything on this, but a pretty ugly day on Friday for Google, going out on the lows. Google going to cut Smart TV Group budget by 10% and trim the team involved there, according to the information. So Google working on a couple days in a row to the downside here. But yeah, let's talk about some of these oil producers, all to the upside here. CVX, I mean, bring up any of them. They all look pretty much the same. XOM, same story, all gapping up 1.5% to about 2% right across the board, along with oil.
Yeah, Brendo, and obviously we're moving up because of the issues in the Middle East, but Iran's parliament on the weekend approved a potential closure of the Strait of Hormuz following U.S. strikes on Iranian nuclear sites. The final decision, though, lies with the National Security Council, not the parliament of Iran. Experts view this, though, as a minimal threat due to the potential for massive self-inflicted economic harm. Just to give you an idea, here, Iran ships about 1.5 million barrels per day through the strait, and a closure could disrupt key exports, especially to China, who is by far the largest customer of Iranian oil. Analysts say Iran unlikely to provoke China or other Gulf states given the potential blowback and the economic isolation. And the Strait of Hormuz handles about 20% of all the global oil flow, making it the world's most critical energy transit route. Analysts expect Iran to avoid full disruption, possibly opting here for partial interference. We'll have to see how that all works out. Spare capacity via pipelines, Brendo and Saudi Arabia and through the UAE totals about only 2.6 million barrels per day. Compare that to the 20 million that goes through the strait. So no feasible alternative here if they do close it. Can't go through pipelines.
I want to show this real quick. This is a daily chart of the futures. If you go to oil futures here, we've given back. So we get this huge gap up on this news, obviously, to 78. We've given it all back. We're right back to essentially where we went out at the end of the week, guys.
Yeah, like if they were to close the strait, like that's just, you'd see just complete chaos in oil futures. You'd see complete chaos in all of the related names. I mean, XOM's a good looking chart. It's not doing a heck of a lot of volume. If it's an oil name that I trade today, like I think XOM a lot of times, it's probably a good hold. I'll leave it at that. Maybe it pulls back into prior highs and you can play off something along those lines. But without a ton of pre-market volume, if I look over at energy, it's going to be something like an Indo here today. You know, like 550, which is a prior resistance zone, looks pretty good. And this is set to break out. Let's just quickly double check the short float here, because a lot of times we like to know what the dilly is. I know it's a decent size short float, but the reason you play this or a HUSA is simply because of that. It's only about 6%, so it's not as big as it used to be. That's one thing to keep in mind, but since the conflict has started, this has been trying to make that secondary breakout. So I do like a look at Indo today. I'll do that one over HUSA because HUSA recently had an offering, HUSA, and was in the tank last week. So INDO for me.
Yeah, so, you know, I was thinking about actually selling out of my oil names, like XLE, and I have this one in Canada that's similar. I don't actually own any individual oil names, but it's just been such a huge run up for many of these plays. And now, like, I thought that we would have came in today and seen XOM like pretty huge, and it's not. It's only up 1.5%. We talked about the move in oil too. It's like there doesn't seem to be too much happening. So I'm looking at a short here if we can get going a little bit, and just basically issue a challenge to XOM to break 120. I mean, we in the last year and a half, we spent maybe, how many days is this? Maybe 20 days above 120 right now. And with all this, turmoil, we have Russia, Ukraine doesn't, I mean, obviously that's in the back seat now, which probably it shouldn't be, but that's still happening. And then we have Straits of Hormuz, they're talking about that potentially being shut down. If that's the case, then I could see this getting back up. But if not, and we kind of just continue business as usual, and there is no business as usual. I mean, everything's changed with what the U.S. did there on the weekend. But it doesn't seem to have been moving as much as I thought. So for me on oil, I would think that its best days, I never want to say the best days of something are behind it, but, because you never know what's going to happen. But this is just a nice move back up, and just thought that we would have been a lot higher. And if Iran does come, like, let's just say the other way around, if Iran does come to the bargaining table and wants to make a deal, I mean, then what do we think is going to happen to oil, right? Probably the other way. So I would say for right now, I'm a seller of these names, including an Occidental or anything like this. We're at some key levels here, and I would especially sell XOM. Occidental, before I get too carried away, needs to get to this $50 level. But even then, right, I mean, that's a good short into 50 or underneath the 200 period moving average still. So anything up here I think is decent. So I would just watch out. I'm not as bullish on oil as I thought we would have been seeing all those headlines.
Go on to Circle, fading out here pretty quick. Still green on the day. Got back below 1% though. We're coming back in pretty quick through 250. There's a deal with Fiserv. Fiserv actually up more than any of these right now, announcing a couple of deals, 5.7% for FI. One of those coming with Circle, but multi-day run here, just absolutely monstrous.
Wild last week. I couldn't even find the words.
Lots
It was
of
so
words.
crazy, yeah. So Circle stock up 83% and change last week and has nearly doubled, guys, since the IPO earlier this month. The surge follows the U.S. Senate's passage of the Genius Act, which is a bill designed to establish a federal regulatory framework for stablecoins. Circle is the sole issuer of USDC, which is the second largest stablecoin by market cap after Tether. The bill enables banks, fintechs, retailers to legally issue and use these stablecoins. It also includes a regulatory oversight and consumer protections, and now moves to the House for reconciliation because, again, guys, it was passed in the Senate. Despite the excitement, investors are urged to be cautious here. Circle, last time I looked, had about a $60 billion market cap, but Brendo, they reported $1.7 billion in revenue last year. The stock's near 200% rise in weeks post the IPO highlights the speculative interest, but also the potential volatility. And this is what caught my attention. Their revenue is very interest rate sensitive, so rate cuts could compress those yield-based income streams, and about 50% of all revenue linked to Circle comes from Coinbase, which holds and supports USDC. So a change in how Coinbase deals with the USDC could fundamentally hurt their balance sheet there. 50% on one company, man.
Yeah, I was noticing coin's actually down this morning, 1.5% with Bitcoin, but yeah, that's a lot. This deal, though, with Fiserv will, I mean, it's nowhere near the same size, but maybe opens the gate at least for potential to expand that a little bit. But keep an eye on FI as well, guys.
Yeah, certainly. I mean, FI has a chance on some relative volume to go, but I mean, Circle's still doing millions of shares pre-market, even if it isn't as bullish as it was on Friday. Look, most days, this is the first day that it's been selling in the pre-market. Just wanted to show. Usually it's flat. It's been flat, flat, and then strong upward move on Friday at the open. But the experience of Friday has taught me, like, when this catches a lack of bid like it did at the open, the reversal was violent and it was worth looking for. I was able to catch, I didn't catch this one, I missed it, swung missed. We talked about that on Friday several times. But then there was a nice catch when it did another bit of a downward trajectory trend, and then this nice little bottoming tail candle, trend break. That's what I'm looking for in Circle. If I see this kind of heavy fall, I want to look to play the mean reversion play. Now, obviously, levels can come into play. Sometimes it'll bounce clean off of a level, like a VWAP, like it did in the afternoon. That's about 230. That can just be the first place I'd look for it. But if it breaks it, you're looking for either a strong trend break, which sometimes is so violent it's hard to get in, or others where you get a trend break and a bottoming tail, and it's not that difficult to find your way into the dip buy on Circle. 230 is the first place I'd look, as it's trending down a little bit here. You know at some point the wind's going to come out for a few days, but until then, buy the dip worked on Friday, as long as you were patient enough to allow it to slow down to the downside. Like, I remember sitting there and we're like, oh, there's no one bidding, there's no one bidding. Don't touch it, and then you take your one shot when it gives you that curl on the trend break. That's what I want out of Circle. I didn't really look too much at Coinbase, because I think you got to almost pick one. And if you try to do both, it's a little bit tricky. So I'm going to be focused on Circle if I got to choose one.
Yeah, I think we've talked about this, man. I think like the greatest IPO continues to make IPOs great again. Nice move there. That's funny. I saw Trump tweet something out. He's like, if Iran wants to make Iran great again. Okay, so here we go. I just want to say, let's just find out who's making the money. I mean, whether or not it's Circle or not, this is the top traders here at Real Trading. We had this is from Friday. These are all US dollars, so it really falls off after the top trader. But someone here last week on Friday made 33,000 trading these markets. And then we have a Canadian market here, TSX and the CSE with 13,500. That's US. All these are US dollars. There's Nasdaq, Canada again, Hong Kong. The Mexican, I don't remember the last time I've ever seen the Mexican market on here, but there it goes, man. 6,500 for Mexico coming through again. So big number there. Mexican market coming through for Real Trading. So big time shout out there. Look, it's just a long right there. 3, whatever this high of the pre-market is, because it's probably going to break it. That's 258.50, right? And so Circle continuing to sort of be that, you know, absolute monster of a play as people are scrambling to find shares. CRCL right now, Circle.
We don't have
so, oh, it's not on here.
Short float's not on.
No, short float's on here. But I wanted to see what the actual float was, and oh, there it is right there. Float. 180 million. So there is enough shares out there. So maybe Circle eventually slows down, but yeah, huge move up there for Circle, and just going to continue. It's only up 2%, which makes me think it can go a lot more. The breaking point really is probably like 200 again. So that's going to be quite a move down for Circle. Like, let's just say it breaks 230. Do you really want to go short there? I mean, then you're running into all of this. I don't really, I'm looking always for like gap fills and things like that. So we've already sort of filled that. Like if we were up here, then I would say maybe a break of 252 gets us, and that worked. So when you're looking for fills, I don't really, you're under VWAP. Yeah, I guess 230 is just a buy zone then, if it comes into there. So I don't know. I'm not super excited about it until it actually makes some moves and starts trading a little bit more. It's making lots of moves, but some more reasonable moves. CoreWeave, again, you know, they might say, hold my beer if you want to know a best IPO, because that name just keeps on getting higher as well. CoreWeave looks like it wants to go up there. I mean, we're going to be watching AMD, NVIDIA, names like that, but CoreWeave right there at 180. There are some great dip buy opportunities. Look at a 186 break. We saw it earlier. That's actually 187. You break 187, then you're probably gone on this too. So I don't know. I think both of these names continue to go higher into today. So I still think Circle and CoreWeave, the move isn't done. You're going to need a big flush to get, you know, the paper hands out of there. I think people continue to buy dips. I like CoreWeave breaking 187 long.
Friends over at VinFast. Interesting article by Zoltan Ban at Seeking Alpha. VinFast developing market strategy is starting to catch investors' attention. While competition is strong in the US and Europe, they're focusing on fast-growing markets like India, Indonesia, and the Philippines. With rising oil prices, EVs are looking more appealing. Q1 showed major progress. Losses per vehicle dropped from 61,000 to 18,000. Nasdaq ticker VFS. VinFast, definitely one to watch. HIMS, one to maybe close your eyes and not. I don't know.
I was waiting for the segue on that.
In front of this or not. 25% right now. I mean, we seem to be kind of basing out here a little bit in front of 48.50. This went out at $65 on Friday.
Yeah, it's an ugly looking chart there, Brendo. Down and to the right, Novo Nordisk abruptly ending its weight loss drug collaboration with Hims & Hers Health, triggering, as you saw there, that 20+% drop. The partnership had expanded in April, not that long ago, enabling telehealth access to Wegovy, Novo's FDA-approved obesity drug through the Hims platform. The offering included all of Wegovy dose strength bundled with Hims & Hers membership at the very thrifty, Brendo, $5.99 a month, featuring 24/7 care, nutrition support, clinical guidance, all that good stuff. This bundled model was basically the central piece to Hims' push for the fast-growing weight loss market, and Novo Nordisk gave no detailed explanation for the sudden termination, leaving uncertainty around whether the regulatory, strategic, or the supply chain factors were involved here. The lack of transparency here has kind of spooked investors, Brendo, with him shares reflecting that concern, obviously. Down to the right.
Yeah, I was trying to pull up here. They haven't actually reported this, but maybe they have. I'll keep looking, but I was trying to pull up here the percentage of revenue that this product actually makes up for Hims & Hers. But I'll keep digging here, but it's going to be just monstrous because, wow,
can imagine.
25% downside.
That's exactly why you're seeing the effect be so precipitous to the downside. At this point, you know, you can, when you make your notes and all that kind of good stuff, when these stories come out, like I'm thinking the old standard pull back into prior support, and then fade it, that's 55. Good luck with that. If it goes that far, it's pretty intense. But there is also, along that same vein, 51 to 52 would be the next battleground zone. It's already at the 50-period moving average. So as far as I'm concerned, like I'm never really shorting something as it's SSR trying to bounce off a level like that. So yeah, this just does not stand out as something I would want to chase down here on a negative move. It has been relatively strong. Let's see if it gets a relief and pulls back into this level on the daily. That seems like a nice place to look for a continuation short if it pops. Like 51 to 52 would be the zone. Because it's already at that 50 period. I think it's made the move that you would expect. So good luck. I know it's treated a lot of people really well to the long side. Sometimes that's why you want to take profit on these types of runners. It was more than a double up since that consolidation off the 200 period moving average when things got a little feisty here in March. And I would suspect there will be a little bit of a bounce here. I'll look to play the fade into prior support.
I mean, this is why, you know, you got to take profits at some points, right? We talked about Rivian, we talked about Disney. Well, we didn't even talk about Disney. But some of those names, Uber's another one. You know, when you get into levels where you're kind of like, yeah, I've kind of seen that before. Like, how many times are you going to go from 30 to 70, back down to 30, then back down to up to 70 and not cash any out? So I hope that there's a lot of you that did cash it out, but you were just talking, you know, there's lots of traders that were all over this name. I think Steve Tileman was saying that it was like the largest position that he liked the most. That's fine to like those things, you know. It's just that you got to take something out at some point. Reach up to 100K more users. Yeah, I am promoting that. But there it is right now, 53 short. Look, I was just saying key watch level here is VWAP. You know, and it also failed there. So if you go over, this is just what I'm looking at right now. So this is 53 right here. So that was a key level on the daily, and not really one here this morning as we just cut right through it. So there's 53. We bounced around a little bit, which gave me, you know, some interesting ideas there. That was at 8 o'clock, right? And then we lost 53. And since then, it's written here on the sticky note. So if we do get a pop-up, I was saying VWAP and or 53, but now it looks like VWAP is 52 and change. So anything up into here, I think, is worth a short. But then if it breaks like 55, you can get out. So I think a 53 short into 55 is fine. Still 32% short flow with only 4 minutes to go. We still have AMD to talk about. That's going to be on my list as well as a top trade. NVIDIA right now with the sell, so that's going to give something back. I don't know, man. Maybe by Friday we're not at all-time highs like I thought. We'll wait to see if there's anything going on there. But bids and offers all over the place. HIMS was just a small sell right there. XOM with a buy. We talked about oil already. I don't see AMD on here, but let's go find out the story.
Just going through a couple things here. For AMD, back to the upside as we've seen here, 2% right now after a huge move out of the gate back on Friday. I mean, there's not a lot as far as headlines go for AMD. ARC, Kathy was in there buying on Friday. She bought 162,255 shares. Sharif and I were just kind of oohing and awing over this Circle trade. 615,000 shares sold of Circle on Friday. 147.8 million. The projected value, I guess no one knows the actual price, but
yeah.
That's not bad.
People always talk about her selling NVIDIA before it went to the top. People don't point out enough of these good trades that she has. Let's talk about AMD, guys. So Melius upgrading AMD to buy from hold, I guess, with analyst Ben Wrights is setting a new price target of $175. That's up from 110. That implies basically a 36.5% upside from current levels. Wrights highlights his growing investor optimism around inferencing, guys, inferencing, not training, related GPU growth, especially in 2026 to 2028 timeframe. He says the demand from hyperscalers and sovereign buyers is accelerating, pushing forecasts even higher. And they're basing their analysis here on strong conviction that the street is underestimating the AI GPU monetization. The firm expressed, Brendo, here continued upward earnings revisions and growing institutional interest.
Just a quick note, more people talking about that Google note from earlier. It did make a bit of a downtick there, but if you missed it again, Google cutting their smart TV budget and the staff around that, according to the information, guys.
Ooh, Google. No, not too much movement on Alphabet, but AMD, look, it's super strong. The only cautionary tale I'll have is if we get the pullback like we did on Friday, the obvious buy was right at that 128 level, and it just held it the entirety of the day. It's the only two places I'm looking for the buy are our close price at the 128, and then if we can hold 130 at the open. You got some bad wicks in here, but it's been holding this prior high. Underneath, maybe even like 129.8, but I think this gets tested right away. If you lose VWAP, I'm waiting all the way to $128. This is relatively strong. Just very quickly, I know the imbalances came out. I didn't see NVIDIA, but NVIDIA actually took the low of the day there.
It was a sell.
Oh, it was a sell, okay. Took the low of the day and is right back in. So it must have paired that off a little bit. But it's AMD that I'll be paying more attention to for sure. With only about 30 seconds to go to start this week. We'll look for some Tesla. Oh, by the way, Indo, when I got up to go to the bathroom, decided to break out. I'm going to play this back into the breakout price at that 69.25.
Yeah, we have AMD as our second trade idea on here, 129. So we're going to get a little aggressive here, 129.50 if we can grab that. Tesla will break right off the open, so hopefully we'll get a little bit of shares here to start our day at 328 and then wait to see if there is some dip buy opportunities for Tesla. Apple also, we didn't get enough chance to talk about Apple today. Over $200 right now, so we'll wait to see if Apple can get into that $200 mark. But there it is. The opening bell is brought to you by Origenics, so make sure you go check them out. Origenics. There goes Tesla right now. We did not get the fill, unfortunately, TSLA, as it's gone. We tried to, my order went out. It just was not aggressive enough. So we missed all there. I mean, there goes Tesla. So we'll get in here at 329.60s. It's already $1 right there, but you know, where does Tesla go from here? We'll have to wait. But there goes Tesla. We miss our 328 break. We take 329.50. There it goes, man. It's already a monster trade, but we don't have as many shares as we want or the price that we want. Actually, we have the shares, but we don't have the best price. So right there, we'll take $1 as it goes higher. It's $1.70 now in the money. Tesla, huge trade long, and it looks like it wants to continue to go higher. So there it goes, man. Tesla, we nailed it. It's our #1 trade idea, but we just missed the 328. So we take 329.64, and there it goes, man. It's a big move. Let's put another piece out for 331 and change, but there goes $1 in the money already on our first trade, and we'll just wait for some more, man. We're waiting for AMD now, I guess.
AMD's about to break. Oh, maybe. AMD's trying to break out that high. HIM's just got absolutely smoked, now down to $46. Bye-bye, Indo. Indo does not give us. I just canceled the VWAP bid. Indo just won another 10 points, now up 42%, INDO. We'll look to get in on some kind of a dip buy. Congratulations if you took that 6.25 break a little bit earlier. This one absolutely flying. And that's without oil doing anything. It's up 41%. Oil's not even moving.
Tesla's $5 in the money right now. Your #1 trade today, man. We take it and we take it good. Neil, it's $7 now in the money on Tesla, and we missed the price that we wanted. So there it goes, man. Tesla, let's just get some more out, man. It is absolute. There it goes again. Okay, Joe, man, we're here, man. Neil, this is what we're doing every day, man. There it goes, Tesla, nice win over there for anyone trading Tesla. All right, Apple's coming in, though. So we have Apple right now coming in. So we're now long Apple at this price as well. So let's go. This is the price that we wanted for AAPL, in and around 200. It's another play off of the note. So, I mean, that's what I'm saying. Like, you know, you can either get aggressive, watch stock, or if something breaks, man, you got to try it. I tried 328 for Tesla. We had to pay up for that. We get it. There's Apple 200 long, so that might break out to the downside very, very soon. But it's an oh boy trade here for TSLA, as there it goes, man. We're long at 329.50. We just got out at 336. So good movement here for TSLA. I'm going to take one more piece. I mean, I don't know how long this is going to last for. Let's play the momentum out. Right there it goes again on Tesla. Oh boy, is that a trade or what? There on Tesla. Let's go for Apple as well. There's 40 cents in Apple. So far, man, we've taken about $8 out of this market. Let's see what we can do. More than that, it's only $9.33.
Yeah, it just started. Great look over there. I can't endorse chasing Indo up here. I just had a look at the oil futures. They're absolutely doing almost nothing as Indo flies, but I do like me some AMD. That actually has held the 130 level. There's your bottoming tail holding the 130. Looks like VWAP is going to be in play. If we can grab this at the volume weighted average price with a 130 stop or just underneath 130 stop, I'm going to take that. But I don't mind the breakout play either. Whichever way we get long on AMD is fine. Just keep in mind, the chips are not strong right now. NVIDIA is actually heading back down to the low of the day and about to break it. So this is with NVIDIA testing the lows that we're grabbing the long in front of 130 on advanced micro devices. So let's play it back into the volume weighted average price, see how high this one wants to go. Indo's about to break $8. Maybe I'll play a failed break on Indo. That could be a way to get in.
Okay, we're long AMD here as well. The market is coming back in a little bit, but so far so good, man. I mean, we got some more out of, actually, our best out of 60s there. We did not get 01s on Apple, so we're going to have to go a little bit higher here on Apple, see if we can get that. We'll put some 201s out as well on there. So, all right, so Tesla coming right back in, man. Here it comes. This is why we get some out on Tesla. We're out of 2/3 of this trade, but it is coming back in into a level that we don't mind. But look what the market's doing, man. You want to talk about, like, oh man, what is going on? The market is coming back in pretty decently again. Maybe we do wind up getting something around that 330 mark there for Tesla. We could see if we can put a bid there. I am gonna put a bid there, and then we are still gonna wait for 328. Maybe that comes in again, and we'll see what we can do with that. But it's AMD right now. Look, we wanted to wait. We wrote down 29s, so we'll just start the trade right now. But we got to wait for, well, here it comes back in 129 for AMD. And it looks like Apple's trying to break some backs as well, falling down. I mean, look at the market. The market's coming back in. So, you know, try to take some longs here, see if it can work. We'll punch a little bit more of Apple here, but the market's falling. Let's not get too overly confident on the longs, as some of these levels are right here, right now. So my out for Apple, I don't know, that's 199.50 maybe, looking pretty decent there for Apple for an out. So I think that that's probably what we'll wind up doing there. 199.50 to be wrong on Apple. And Tesla still working, man. That's still $4. I think we'll take another piece out here on Tesla.
Yeah, Tesla put, well, I mean, the Tesla coming back in a little bit. Indo just pulled back. INDO just pulled back a little bit here, bouncing off of 720. There's a buyer at the quarter level, at least there is for now. If we can play back into 750, going to try to take some out in front of that price. Like I said, oil wasn't really doing a heck of a lot. This is more like a squeeze play. Quickly, for everyone that's out there, well, if you had him short right away, you're good to go. But now at $45, at some point, this is just going to go so far to the downside that I'm looking SSR bounce. Now it's under the 50 on the daily. $42 is the next significant level. If it gets to 42, I'm going to look SSR bounce on on HIMS. INDO is a different stock, obviously.
We're 3 for 3, and it's all
Get up.
as listed. Man, AMD is a huge trade, so we're going to wait to see what winds up happening here. We've got on a decent spot right now. Bitcoin 101.5 right now. Tesla, look at Tesla, $5 in the money. AMD 50 cents in the money. Apple right now, quick little 16 cents. Let's see if we can get a little bit more on all of these plays. What's up, Adara?
Oil and energy names, because we did get a post from President Donald Trump on Truth Social. And I quote in all caps, "Everyone keep oil prices down. I'm watching, exclamation point. You're playing right into the hands of the enemy. Don't do it, exclamation point." So Trump here with this Truth Social post on oil. Keep an eye on some of these oil plays. Here's the chart of OX, Wire Occidental. Back to you.
2 times goal. Thank you, Adara. Met right there for the day. It's AMD, Neil. It's absolutely monstrous. I don't know what
130.
What position you had there, but we had a big position.
130 long, but I got it at 131. By the way, I punched the second I heard Trump said something about keeping oil prices down. I punched out of Indo. I'm not fighting the president. Probably
a good idea.
No, I'm just saying, if you're long an oil stock in that moment, you don't hold on to the long, everybody. It was a great breakout trade, but there's no chance I hear that headline that I'm going to stay in it.
So what kind of, like, were you pretty heavy there on AMD? What was your situation there? Because that was a great call. Neil, what was your position there on AMD?
I had regular size on it.
Regular size?
Regular size. I mean, I'm like everything that I play is basically about the same, unless it's a big time mean reversion play.
Okay.
Those are the ones that I tend to like the best. But one last thing, while that was going on, we did miss an opportunity here in Circle. Load Circle.
Circle.
Speaking of mean reversion play, it did do the move you're looking for, which is that big bottoming tail candle. I was on Indo and AMD. It goes right into 230. But with Circle, if you're not watching that stock in that moment, you have 0% chance of catching it. It's that simple. So yeah, it came down into my level, but I was looking at 2 other stocks at that time. Congratulations. Like right now, if you're looking at it, pretty much everything came into play. AMD 130, Circle 230, and Indo's going to try and hold. But with that news, I almost feel like you should be fading some of those energy names if we get any more pops. So yeah, looking pretty nasty for the energy names. You got to be able to bail when the president says certain things.
All right. Yeah. So right now it's a big one here for AMD. I mean, like we were saying, like when a price comes in that you've been waiting for and that you like, and a stock comes in. I mean, this is why we say it all the time, man. I mean, regardless of how you guys prepare, for me, it's pretty simple. I just look at the names that we like there: Tesla, AMD, Apple. So I'm in all three of these names, and all three of them have helped sort of get to where we need to get to on the day. And now we just try to figure out, okay, based on what we're seeing, based on how this market's moving around, are there better opportunities and what is the next trade? But look what AMD is doing. We wrote down on AMD 132 break, right? So you're almost right there right now. So let's take a little bit off. It's just a bit, it's a good trade here to start the day. So we want to make sure that we were able to capitalize on that. We did get a dip down in the market, which sort of gave us all of these trades. So there goes AMD. And yeah, good size there. And that's why I was asking Neil, just like what kind of was he taking there? Because I was pretty confident in it, and I wound up taking much more. I took 4 times. Neil was like, most trades are the same size. That's just a different strategy, right? And you guys ask us sometimes about that. So I took 4 times the shares on AMD that I did on Tesla, and same thing on Apple, 4 times the size on AMD than Apple. But Apple looks like that's going to be a great winner as well. Just wish we had a little bit more on Apple. But so far, so good. So we wrote down 200 on Apple. We had the AMD trade, and we obviously now have this Tesla trade as well. So far, so good, but more to come, man. I'm hoping anyways, we're able to find some big winners here as this day goes on. But Tesla, not as big as I'd sort of hoped, wishing that we had got another pump through 337. But right now, Apple moving, Tesla moving, and then we didn't look at HIMS. Well, you looked at HIMS a little bit, but that did not come back up to VWAP. So that would be a good shortish area, around 49 to 50 there for HIMS. So another area there to consider a look. But AMD coming back in a little bit here. I'm going to get another piece out of AMD.
Yeah, I just realized, by the way, anyone's asking what did you say about Indo, I just simply said, I'm getting out of the longs when the president says keep oil prices down. And then the first thing I'm going to do is pay for locates on Indo, because we didn't actually, I was only planning to go long. So I did not even pay for locates. And oh, looks like the page is, I'll have to do that in a couple of minutes. The page is down for me. Anyways, Circle looks like it's trying to pull back a little bit. Every time it dips, I just want to find that bottoming tail candle if we're able to get it. I want to play trend on AMD. I'll leave the Circle chart up because I don't want to get too far away from it. I'm still sitting 130, but VWAP sits at 130.75 on my 3-minute. So with it still kind of rejecting up at that 132, I think VWAP also sits as a level to be able to play into. So once I can get locates on INDO, the ability to go short it, I do want to play short.
Neil doesn't have any positions. People keep saying we don't see your positions.
No, I'm out of my positions. I punched out of Indo. I'm looking to pay for some shorts. If the president says keep the prices on oil down, I want to look to see it close under VWAP. If it closes this under VWAP, I'm going to take the short into 712. But it's not going to be free to do so. So I'm just going to get those right now.
All right. Yeah, that's why, guys. All right, so you can see my positions, I hope, and right now Tesla's, okay, so here goes Tesla, man, $5 in the mun. We'll take a little offer here at 78. Oh no, it just ran away from us. This is why, so there it is. Okay, well, it didn't run away from us that hard. There it goes back up to 335 right now. So here's, the longs will be indicated by our arrows there. So there goes the first long at 329. Unfortunately, we wrote down 328. Our order went out, but we didn't cross enough, only 20 pennies. That was not enough because we put it in the pre-market, and I didn't want to like wipe the level in the pre-market. But there it goes, man. We do have PMI numbers coming out pretty soon as well. You can go find these on X for ourselves as well there. Here it is, just on mine. Let's just review what is coming out right here. There it is. That's Cirque du Soleil. That was fun. Right there, 9:45 global data PMI coming out, 10 o'clock home sales, of course, existing home sales, and then Fed speakers all day. I'm not worried about the Fed at all. I'm worried about news hitting somewhere else. like that oil news that Adara brought us and things like that. So those are what's keeping me awake here, but not really. There goes Apple again. So far so good, man. Every trade we've had today is $1 plus, right? Tesla right now is $7. AMD is $1.50. Apple's $1.40. So far so good here. We're gonna go 3 for 3 and be pretty good. But again, with these numbers coming out, might be worth just getting out of a little bit more here of some of these names. So Apple absolutely ripping. Like I said, I wish we had a little bit more on Apple, but for AMD and for the rest of these, let's just get some out. I put some out there at 72. We do have these numbers coming out, so let's go over to Adara and find out what there's all about.
We have a couple numbers here, so we're going to go over them. We've about 22 seconds left. First here, S&P Services PMI, 52.9 is the forecast, 53.7 was the previous print. Then we have the S&P Manufacturing PMI, 51 here versus 52 expected. Last but not least, S&P Composite PMI, 52.2 versus 53 previous. So all of these estimates we're expecting to be a little bit lower than the previous print. And we get them in now. 53.1 is the S&P Services PMI. So that is going to be above the forecast of 52.9, but below the previous print here of 53.7. We have S&P Manufacturing PMI 52 above the forecast of 51 in line with the previous print of 52, and S&P Composite PMI 52.8 also above the forecast. S&P 500 waffling a little bit here, a bit of a topping tail candle starting to form. Let's look at the Nasdaq, which might look a little bit similar here. Yeah, basically similar look here to the Nasdaq. These ran up here off the open. Right now, maybe struggling a little bit after that print. Again, higher than expected across the board for that S&P Manufacturing Composite and Services PMI, and back to you.
Thank you very much, Adair. Appreciate it. So not really that much movement on the PMI number, but what you do have very quickly, I did get into Indo. It was pretty cheap to locate. Think of it as free here at Real Trading, but right underneath the volume weighted average price. First bid's going to be right at the open 660. But on the Nasdaq, we're looking at a pretty good bottoming tail candle. The only thing left is to break out the top. The problem is we're not really breaking out this top. So until that happens, I'm going to play for some dip buys on anything that I'm bullish on. And as I said, Indo was a flip from favoring the longs into favoring the shorts, just simply 100% based on the president's comments. That's more or less it. We're going to have existing home sales also coming out. So I'm looking dip back into advanced micro devices. Right now, VWAP now sits almost at 131. I haven't canceled 130, but 131 looking like the level that we're going to have to play off of next if we get that stair step to the upside continuing. I have HIMS on the back burner, but until it makes some kind of a fresh low, it's kind of diddling in the middle. I want it breaking down into 42 if we can before I try to play that one. Falling knife on HIMS. So if we get a dip, great on AMD. The other place that I'm looking here is, of course, INDO, flip to the short side.
All right, guys. There's Bitcoin. We called it 102. So if you didn't buy that dip, then yeah, I didn't. But there it goes. All right. We talk about it. The show is not, about nets or anything like that. It's about trading and your ideas. But so far here today, man, what a day. AMD continues to go right into the levels that we wanted to, right? So that's been really good. Tesla is now absolutely gone. Like, you want to talk about, I've been finding that these markets, like these last little while, have been pretty straightforward, man. I mean, we could just go back and look at most of the sticky notes that we're writing down. The levels are holding and going, and it's just been working. I mean, there hasn't been too much. Palantir can be difficult some days, for sure. But, overall, like, the market's actually printing kind of like prices that make sense. And whenever that happens, we fly out. So we're getting out of a bunch here at 132. I mean, I like the 132 break on AMD, but we had talked about this level a little bit, and we had come in and just not much going on in and around there. So, we'll take some out. We're still going to hold to see if we can get a little bit more spice in this level. But for right now, yeah, it's not looking, huge here for AMD breaking higher. But if we do, we got to get above that 133. So we're trying to hold out a little bit of hope that we can get there. We just spiked into the 30s. I was actually waiting at 132.22 and just got missed there. So we'll see if that can come back up into that upside there for advanced micro devices. Look, love to trade. My style has completely changed. I'm like I try to hit the goals that I'm looking for, and we try to do that, as early as possible. And then if something else sets up, then great. So you're asking me about buying AMD. I think you can rebuy it at 131. Yeah, I mean, that's where, VWAP is. But, like I was saying, we're pretty happy with what we've been doing here. And that is waiting for levels and grabbing the ones that we initially had thought about. So I'm still probably going to wait for 130, but the trade's already in. We've already sort of made the day here on AMD. Anything after this is kind of just like, is just kind of like icing on top of the cake right here. So I hope you guys are in some of those plays. Neil's in Indo right now.
It's outdo.
So right now you're in that trade, but
That's Friday.
We'll wait. Indo.
No, because
I gotta read.
It's a line here from Friday. Indo, outdo.
Oh, Indo. Oh, is it? Okay, yeah, I have to. Damn it, I should know. No, I should know that one. You're right by calling me out on that one. All right, Prop X ad read right here. If you want to level up your trading game with Prop XP, you can get up to 1 to 200 leverage up to 1 to 200 leverage and static drawdown. I thought that was saying and no static drawdown. And static drawdown. Scroll the site and pick your challenge at propxp.com. Trade directly on our platform. Sign up, try it for free, and start your trading journey. Enjoy rapid payouts and real human support. There are no bots. Rated 4.6 stars on Trustpilot, trusted by traders worldwide. Right now, get 50% off with the best code around, code TRADERTV. One word, TRADERTV. Link is in the description. Be the trader, get funded. Join Prop XP today. Visit Prop XP and start your journey with them as AMD pulling back down. What's up, Adara?
I hear an LMND. I couldn't find any news on Lemonade, but this one is a retail favorite. It's getting tons of attention on X right now, like lots of mentions per minute here. And LMND or Lemonade also does have a notable short float. Just under 29% of this is sold short, guys. Keep an eye on LMND. And back to you.
Yeah, who
tasty
needs
treat?
That's
he loves the Arnold Palmers. He loves the Arnold Palmers. Oh, how much was?
I love the Arnold Palmers. It's a tasty beverage. 40-something% short float. Is that what I heard for Lemonade? It's a cool, refreshing drink. Apparently, it's also a squeeze play. So just saw INDO did another fail at VWAP. It's hard to see because the execution covers it up, but it goes right up into VWAP here, breaks 7, comes back in, added at 99. So that's why you'll see, 98, sorry. That's why you'll see my price now 98. It did tag that 660 and bouncing again. So it bounced off that 660 support, so I still have a piece. Stop now, move to that prior high, but I also reloaded on, and this is the thing, whatever, Trump said what he said, so you gotta, I was long and I wanted the longs initially. 625 was the break that we wanted, we didn't get it, but you gotta be able to pivot when the president says something like that. NVIDIA, AMD just broke VWAP. So I took the bounce off the volume weighted average price. Now we'll wait back for the 130 level on AMD. It did this before. Breakout, fail back in, didn't catch a buy, and it wasn't that much of a buy on Friday at about 129.5. 128's the other. If we cannot hold 130, I wait for 128. Pretty simple. I'll buy VWAP on trend, I'll buy our prior highs, and then I'm looking for that support down at the 128 level for sure. Hamster, you know what? It doesn't matter what you believe. To me, the market has respected sometimes when things like that get said. So I flipped into the short on Indo. It worked. It worked to get out of the long and go short. I'll leave it at that.
Yeah, I mean, at the end of the day,
Trump, it's going to move or it's not going to move, and sometimes he moves the markets. I feel like when he truths something, you tend to want to go with the flow. That's just me.
Yeah, I mean, look, you're still up on the stock, still up on the stock. I mean, we can all make plays. I mean, we have a lot of plays coming through today. So, yeah, be careful and be patient and only take the names that you want to take, right? I mean, I saw some people in the chat saying they chased Tesla there. I mean, Tesla's still, oh my. Tesla is $10 right now in the money. I don't know, man. This has been quite the run there for TSLA. Let's get something out here in the 50s if we can on this move higher. You might as well do so. Did I just... Okay, I was gonna say, didn't I have an offer? Yes, we did. And there it is right there. So, I mean, it's a big trade. It's Tesla. It's moving in the right direction, higher right there. And again, it's the #1 trade idea here at Trader TV Live, going long through the opening break of Tesla or dip buys. We just never got any. We could have dip bought VWAP right there. So just to let everybody know, man, right now we are only in... it was 21, about 10% left of this Tesla trade. We should have about 10 outs here, each one being about that 10%. So a little difficult when we're trying to figure out exactly what we have left, but that's what we've got right there on Tesla. So pretty good trade now, $10. We're taking it. It's good. So there it is. Yeah, VWAP, I didn't take any more here on AMD. Remember, you guys had asked about it. Neil took it, got out. That's probably a decent look there. I'm going to wait for 130, as I said, to love to trade, or whomever that was there in the chat. We're just going to wait for a better trade on AMD. And if it comes in, it comes in. We're pretty light on it right now. I still have about 20% or so of it. AMD is my largest position percentage-wise right now. Apple is absolutely a moonshot. There goes HIMS right now, down 26%. But my best trade probably is Apple. I mean, Apple right here, we didn't even get to it. I tried to get to it real quick, man, off the open. I tried to get to you guys, Apple, and I think we did a good job of it. If you're watching the sticky note, we only have Tesla, AMD, Apple. So this is PL 1, 2, 3 here today. And then neither of us are in HIMS. Neil's still working that Indo, which is a good trade. But right now, this is what we're doing. Right, have these on our watch, take them, and this is a tale of different strategies, right? I mean, me on AMD, I was waiting for those breaks. It went into 132. We were actually long before that, so we didn't have to suffer too much from that break because we didn't take it. And then on Apple, just a key level of 200, something to watch out for. I did want to watch NVO, Novo Nordisk, as well, because that was something that I wanted to check out.
It had its own news as well, to be down.
Oh, they had their own news as well. Okay,
there was something about one of their drugs.
Okay, so about one of their drugs there. Yeah, well, okay, we'll go there in a second. I just want to see like Novo right here coming back into the 50 period moving average. Nice little dip buy opportunity there into $68. So this could be a buy here for NVO. Let's go ask Adair what the news is.
Here Novo Nordisk, which you can check out on our watch list, our Trader TV Live watch list. It's basically they had some trial results here from their new weight loss drug, CagriSema, in case you've missed it. In the past, I would say about 6 months here, we have digested some often mixed to negative updates here with how this test is going. But now they're only seeing mostly mild to moderate side effects. Pretty good sign. However, there's a pretty notable rate of serious adverse effects compared to the placebo. So CagriSema, the Novo Nordisk drug, showed 9.8% here, a rate of serious adverse events. The placebo only showed 6.1%. Analysts, including Jefferies, flagged some concerns about this high rate of adverse effects. Back to you.
Just buy Eli Lilly.
See, there's some adverse effects.
Yeah, that's my level of adverse effects. Last time I checked are bad, but I'm not a doctor, everybody, as is pretty much obvious. Anybody that was in biology class with me in high school then knows that was never going to be in the cards. So I'm out of Indo, INDO. We like to target right back into consolidation. We'll always play support and resistance. That's the way I like to look at it. So I want to take things out when you get to support levels and let it get to the next one. So it goes 7 to 6, in and out. I know I liked it as a long. That's sort of the thing. I had it on the note as a breakout trade, and we long dip buys. All of that changed when the president opened his mouth. President Trump said, keep oil prices down. So I was looking over just to give you guys a little bit more color there. As this was happening, I didn't show you any other oil names. I was only watching Indo. XOM almost went red on the day. So this is absolutely trending down, and that's why you got to get out of Dodge. Indo is more of a squeeze type name anyway. So you take your shots, but you got to be able to reverse sometimes. If you get stubborn about it in the face of like a seed change, you're just going to get yourself into trouble. If you get stubborn, then you're probably shorting Circle, and it's about to break out the high of the day. Well, no, I'm hoping nobody shorts Circle. We talked about this on Friday, a lot on Friday. It doesn't seem like it's going to give us another chance at a dip buy. I was trading Indo and obviously AMD at the moment that this dipped into 230. I don't know that we're going to get a chance to get to that price again. VWAP sits at 250. Seems like a pretty natural place to look for the next trade here on Circle. So I don't know what I probably don't trade Indo again. I think, you get that fail off of VWAP. If it goes back up through VWAP, whatever. If you can get 10, 15% on the move, you just take it. So Circle, I like the 250, also sets up as a volume-weighted average price.
Oh, boy, man. This is now, Circle's great. But, I mean, Tesla here, we're actually in this trade. Tesla right now, $13 right now upside on TSLA. And we talked about XOM, man. I don't know if Trump was watching the show or not. Probably he is. But I, mentioned that we weren't that impressed with the way oil was working. We talked about XOM and its movement coming back down in. We talked about that it wasn't going to get anywhere near 120. That's correct so far. A nice move to the downside right here for XOM. So that's definitely working itself out. Look, man, the fact that we only have 10% left of Tesla, it's not that much, but it's enough. So, yeah, there goes Tesla. Wow. Shout out to Chef Joe. Shout out to everybody. As we approach 10 o'clock, let me just see who's here, man. Who's making money today? Honestly, Palantir, what's up to Anish here? What's up to All Things Trump? Yeah, what's up? All Things Trump loving the show right now. There it is, man. What's up to Dane Generous? Juan Padilla, Skull is here as well. Shorts versus long. Finch, Jane, and everybody there. We'll review this when we get back, but it's number time with Adara.
Better than expected existing home sales coming through. 0.8% to the upside here versus negative 1.25% expected for that existing home sales change. Now the actual existing home sales number coming in at 4.03 million, above the estimate of 3.95 million. Also at 10 a.m., Fed's Bowman to be speaking right now. So keep an eye on comments from Fed's Michelle Bowman. Then at 1:10 p.m., we're going to get comments from Fed's Goolsbee and a double whammy of Fed's Williams and Kugler, both at 2:30 p.m. Market just pushing higher here. A little bit of rejection of 529, similar reaction that we had to the last economic number. But let's see if we're able to continue this push to the upside. S&P 500 looking almost identical to the Nasdaq in this regard. Let's keep an eye on oil because not only do we have geopolitical tensions to be aware of, we also have a slew of comments from President Donald Trump on Truth Social about oil starting around 9:30 this morning, around when the markets opened. First, we had Trump saying that he wants, quote, everybody to keep oil prices down. Then he called for the Department of Energy to drill, baby, drill. And Department of Energy leader Chris Wright already responded and said, quote, we're on it. So keep an eye on oil. We also have CRCL. This one's still on watch here. It's only been about 15 to 16 calendar days since its IPO. Great look here for CRCL as this one made new intraday highs above 260 for the first time. Keep an eye on this one. Still stablecoin excitement abounds. Back to you. Make sure to like and subscribe.
Delicate situation. Thank you very much, Adara. Apparently, Meta's also really going, but my focus is going to be right back into the names that we've been trading before and the ones that we wanted. Circle is trying to play back off the highs. So if you took the breakout trade, it gave you, this actually went $3 or $4, so you can't call it an unsuccessful break if you took it. I still want to play the pullback off of the breakout. I think the dip buys have been a little bit better. If you see what happened on Friday when it broke out the pre-market high, it eventually gave you multiple dips that were a little bit easier to take instead of holding it on the way back in. So playing into that, it gives you Friday's highs as well, that 250 to play the dip into. Indo couldn't get back into VWAP here. Looks like it's making another lower high at 660. I'm just going to try to be patient with this. When we flipped short, it was basically on the news and the volume weighted average price. So I'll wait to see if we can retest VWAP or set up another trend. If it's a hit and quit, then fair enough. Let's go back to Adara, apparently.
We're here. Comments coming through from Fed's Michelle Bowman. As I mentioned earlier, she started speaking at 10 a.m. She said that she's open to cutting rates as soon as the July FOMC meeting if inflation pressures stay contained. So this makes her the second Fed speaker in a couple weeks here to mention that they're open to cutting rates as early as July. She also said that tariffs are likely to have a small impact in inflation, but that progress on trade has actually lowered some uncertainty over the economic outlook going forward. She added, though, that, of course, this current Middle East strife, as she put it, could pressure some commodity prices. But either way, worth noting, now we have two Fed speakers that have openly and vocally stated that they're open to lowering the rates as of the July meeting. Back to you.
All right. Thanks, Adara, for all of that. Shout out here in the chat. What's up to everybody that's doing Good stuff today. What's up to conservative movement there? 1K today. Thank you all. Thank you for watching, man. I mean, and that's what I'm saying. Like, this is why I was saying to you guys, like at 9:40, that was a wrap. It's like sometimes if you're hitting certain levels and, you know, you're making the trades and they're working out for you, that's a wrap. You know, you don't need to keep on going and going and going, looking for trades after trades after trades, right? I mean, our job is to sit here, find good trades, make good money, and hopefully entertain you guys. So I think we're doing all of that. So I want to hit the like and the subscribe to everybody. Thank you so much for your continuous support on the show. We only have 1,000 likes right now, though. Let's see if we can get that upside a little bit more than where we are right now. With over 10,000 watching, I think that we should probably have a few more on the like side. So hit the like and subscribe. If you're green today, hit the like button and let's get going, because today's been a pretty monumental day for some of the ideas that's been spitting out. But the thing about this Tesla is, you know, we were talking the other day about it getting back to 360. Yeah, well, that'll just have to be tomorrow now. Here comes Tesla making that move. This is, I just want to bring it out, like 350 is great. Like right now, this is $15 in the money, but it's just like, you got to wait to see what's the next sort of pull, because the next one could be down. We only have 10% left. I was thinking about like, where do we want to get out? There's nowhere really. We're just going to let this continue to work out. Each one of these trades, again, those are $2, $3 right there. That was $5. We just kept going up. Our best out right there is $10. So we only have 10% left, and there goes 345 again. So look, man, everything is at, you're out of Indo, so that's fine. But everything right now, like I've just been long everything, which is why I looked over there at oil with Neil, but
it's still going down though.
Yeah, still going down. Okay,
the oil is.
Yeah, yeah. Well, yeah, we sort of thought that oil. When Randy came here, I was like, oil. I was like, no, bro. But there it is right there. AMD right back up to its highs. So yeah, man, we're at our highs here too. So as the market keeps going, man, we've been sitting on these three longs the whole morning and just took the trades that we wanted to take when we wanted to take them, and we took them with size enough to have us chilling, right? And so these are the kind of plays that you're looking to do when they come into your levels. Apple 200, come on. But then there's a level right there as well. Like I said, like, you know, I'm only here to trade, like, you know, and when these levels are there, I take them. There's 200, here's support, so, or resistance, so guess what I'm gonna do right there. Get some out because we're just coming right there. It is. So we're taking out right there. Just hit on the offer, take it. So we're just getting out again, 94, I guess, right there. Good out for Apple as we approach again some of these highs. So you're going to go $2 there on Apple. So I know Neil's only had AMD and Indo so far today. I've had Apple, AMD, Tesla so far, and yeah, we're doing pretty good. And remember we talked about Bitcoin. I'm like, it's going to be probably something to look at, and on a rip today, look at Bitcoin and IBIT start to go back up to the upside. So again, this is the one negative about trading IBIT as opposed to actual coin themselves. We always hear people say,
bounce right off 100.
Why would I? Yeah, exactly. Well, yeah, exactly. So people were, why do you want to trade IBIT or Bitcoin instead? Well, you could have got 98 change yesterday, but you never know, right? I mean, you get 98 change, then you come in today and it's 96 and you get a better price on IBIT. So, but just those are the advantages right now. All right, $2 on AMD as we now break the highs on AMD. And even if you took our 132 break, it's now breaking now. So now we just let this thing go, man. It's a monster trade for AMD. I told you it was my largest piece left. So there it goes, man. AMD, take us to the moon right now. Advanced, well, they all are. 17. We're over $20 in the money now. We have 17 on Tesla. We have 2 on AMD and 2 on Apple. And SPTN, a new entry, I don't even know what that is, into the market. We'll hear about that in a minute, but let's go over to, I think, was Adara? Yes, Adara.
Here on SANA, this is Sana Biotechnology. This is a small cap order that we've certainly talked about in the past, about a almost 33% short float here, $678 million market cap. Announcing here, I guess, some positive results here for the 6-month follow-up from their first in-human study transplanting, I guess, one of their cell therapies. So good look here for SANA. I also must mention Circle, CRCL here. This pushing to new all-time intraday highs above 276. So CRCL, which IPO'd just a couple weeks ago with an opening price of $69, now well above 270. And back to you.
Oh my goodness. Yeah, Circle is absolutely going nuts. There was no dip into the volume weighted average price. What's weird to me, though, is Coinbase, for whatever reason, has somebody holding it underneath 310. This is where it rejected 3 times Friday, and it seems like it still can. If this wants to follow suit, it's going to have to break the 311. I think this is a grip and rip as long as Circle's still flying, as that one goes absolutely ham. Yeah, it's going to be a bit of a swing and a miss, man. I only had AMD long, and Indo was a long. We flipped into a short. It was a great trade, but Circle's the one that's gotten away from us at this particular point. Again, I'm not chasing these moves. I only played dip buys on Friday. It was my best stock doing it that way, so I don't want to change. That was the pattern that worked for me. So if we can pull back prior highs, 265 would be the next place I look. It's that or the volume-weighted average price on Circle. Congrats if you played that 230 level or maybe even the 250 on a breakout. I'm now going to throw up Coin on the side. I said I'd play Circle and not Coinbase because we liked it a little bit better. But if Circle is going to go this far, it makes no sense to me. It can go 14%, and Coin is literally flat on the session. Coin breaks Friday's high. I'm going to take that one long, so long as Circle's still going up. If Circle's pulling back, I wouldn't do it, though.
Okay. Yeah. Are there any other names you guys want me to look at right here? Because AMD, like all of these trades that we have are absolutely gone. So let me look at Uber. I was actually thinking about Uber right here and to sell my position. I may just do that. I don't know. It's been such a huge run for Uber and really happy with it. You know, we're long in the mid to, I think it's mid. I was going to say mid to low, but I think it's probably more closer to mid there on Uber. So mid 60s, sorry. So that, you know, that we're out to the 200 period moving, or sorry, the 50 period moving average. Obviously, I'm a little bit nervous about everything with Uber because of that Robotaxi. You know, Elon, he could definitely, I mean, we saw that with that 420 price, you know, I just took some more out of AMD, by the way. I mean, too much up here at 133. We're going to get another piece out. I don't even really want to look. I mean, I think this name is gone. Yeah, we can look at Webull as well. Oh, yeah, that's another new position of mine. Oh, yeah, and Marvell was a new position. But Uber, I just don't know. I think that, like, now that we've seen what the Robotaxi is capable of, and I know there was only 35 taxis out there, I don't consider that, you know, like that's the threat, but it's the idea behind it all. And remember what the stock market does. A, the stock market watches the sticky note. B, the stock market trades based on future performances, right? Not like what Uber's already done. So you got to think like, what does this do for Uber now? I don't think it's great. I really don't. I could see some downgrades maybe coming for Uber, but I still like the stock. Let's maybe get out of half of our Uber when we're done after this. Look, we bought Webull at $11. We had talked about this. This is not going to be a trade, and I'm just calling it up now. I didn't even know what the price was before we talked about this. This is just a play on, you know, fintech and what we've seen with Robinhood and SoFi and some of these other plays. So we're just going to hold this for a while. It's kind of like what we're doing with Big Bear AI, just playing an AI name that I think that eventually, and you know, although being 29, I know I don't have that much time on my side, but there is, you know, like time on my side here. So I am waiting for Big Bear AI and some of these other plays, you know, to get going. So if that can happen, great. And we'll wait for it. We don't need to, most of my money is in now, not most of it, but my largest holding are now the indexes. So we've really done a good job sort of switching into those. So, you know, right now we do have some names that are on, you know, watch for hot plays, including Bitcoin. You know, we've been buying some Bitcoin dips. You guys know about that. And then names like Marvell, Big Bear AI, Webull, Robinhood. We talked about that in the 30s. Now this is almost $80. So there's lots of stuff, man. I still like Oscar Health as well. Right now, waiting for a little bit of a pullback in this name as I'm not in this yet, but I do like this name there. And then, you know, the big hitter that's really changed, you know, not my mind, but, you know, how I think is, you know, the amount of gains you can get from being right on some of these stocks. It's nice to hold indexes and stuff. You know, it's nice to trade apples and the Googles and all those sort of indexy names. But at the end of the day, you want to have something in your portfolio like a Palantir, SoFi, Robinhood, HIMS, before today, things like that can actually, Uber, that'll have stories about them, right? And so, that's what I've been doing, and that's the Webull look at 11 is where I'm stuck. I really am not buying more until we get, into 850-ish.
I think it needs a quarter.
If that happens. 8 quarters? Yeah.
No, a quarter. Like, wait a quarter.
Oh, wait a quarter.
Yes.
Yeah. Well, at least.
Yeah, there's zero rush on that. Let's go to Adair. We'll come back and talk a little bit about Coinbase.
When I hear on Teladoc, TDOC, this one here, 13, almost 14% short float. No news on this, but another name with a decent short float that's running today. Keep an eye on some of these nuclear plays as well. Here is SMR, but you could also look at Oklo, OKLO, or NNE, Nano Nuclear. Wall Street Journal reporting that New York today apparently announced plans to build a large nuclear power facility, the first major new U.S. power plant undertaken in more than 15 years. So keep an eye on some of these nuclear plays, and TDOC, back to you.
Thank you very much, Adara. Just very quickly before we tell you who this is brought to you by, HIMS, VWAP, 48. This is a level. I feel like if we take a shot at this to the long side, it's still waiting for the 42 level, but 48 and the volume weighted average price, if you're looking for a flip, that looks pretty good. Coin broke through the top. Let me know if we're good. Coin broke through the top very quickly and got to that 312 level. I'm now on the bid trying to catch it back into the 310 as it has joined the party to the upside. But I want to let you guys know that this segment is brought to you by 3D Capital. Invest in every sector you love, all in one stock. 3D Capital, that's IDK on the CSE, IDKFF in the US. It's a risk-diversified basket of 60-plus vetted investments. Get founder-level exposure, the kind most investors can't access, in some of the hottest sectors: blockchain, AI, IoT, biotech, and natural resources. Led by a CEO whose last venture returned 150x, 3D is currently trading at a discount to its asset value per share, and they're actively buying back and deleting shares. The world's highest returning investments usually come from founder-level access. Think of 3D as your ETF for early-stage disruptive information. Scan the QR code in front of you for more information on that. Shout out to 3D. By the way, Coinbase just retook the high of the day, grabbed a breakout. We took a long trade on the initial break, came back under 310, took the break of the 3. Actually, it wasn't a 312. It looks like it wasn't a 312 break, as I got 311.99 somehow when it retook the high. Not that that makes, maybe it was like a dark pool print in there or something like that. I want to play this back, give it some room into the prior high, which is $310 effectively. So I want to be long this as long as we're front of 310. Man. We weren't able to get Circle off of that 2 VWAP or anything like it. So we'll see if we can play this as a bit of a catch-up play. What's up?
No, I just ended the Tesla trade. So we'll put that out right now. 346 right there. So what's up, Neil? Is $17 right there on the win. So we'll take that. So there we go. Nice move there for Tesla all the way up. Now we'll just wait, man. I mean, I don't know. I wanted to get flat. We had seen it come back in. I actually, when I put the offer, like I only put it a couple minutes ago, it was at 343. So it ends up to 346. And I was like, I didn't even think we were going to get it. And we did. So monster right there, man. And again, thank you everybody for all the support. And we kind of got cut off from doing it again. Let's just say hi to everybody that's here, man. We started this roll call years and years and years ago when we were doing the after show. And I wanted to whoopsies, and I wanted to thank everybody for being here every day with us. So that's what we're going to do right now. I just got to get it back up because I did close it right there. Let me get the, oh, here it is right here. Let's get going now again. Say hi to some people here. Hi. Hey, Sean. Hey, Just Living. Right there. Let me just go a little bit bigger screen right here to say hi to who's here right now. It's Anthony's here. Gonzo Trader. What's up to Bobby Axelrod? Brian Thompson right there. What am I doing for my 30th birthday? I'll let you know about that really soon. I might have to have a time machine to tell you. But right there, TSM. What's up to TD Baker? Love. Kristen's here. I haven't seen you before, Kristen. What's up, Tyler Smith? Huge. guy. What's up? Yo, Sebastian. What's up, Sebastian? You're still here as well. Oh, I remember you from last week, Tyler Verse. It's him. It's him. Yeah, it's you. How are you doing? All love from Mr. Love Shack there today as well, man. That's one of my mother's favorite songs from the B-52s. It's a Love Shack. The Love Shack, baby. Yeah. All right. There's 350 now coming in. Oh, my God, Neil.
Oh, my God.
This trade now, off of the sticky note, now $20 in the money. We missed it. The thing is, if you like a trade, get in the trade. Like, we missed this at 328. And I was like, you know what? I just basically marketed it in when we were going to the upside. I was like, forget this, man. Like, either I wait for 330 break or I just take it now. We just got out, but we got 329.40s. Here comes 350 again. I could see like a fake and break at 350 for Tesla, but up 8% is no surprise to this dog. We had been here all morning. We had put the order in the pre-market to take the pre-market break. Like, this is the kind of confidence that you have to have if you're going to do anything. You have to take your trades when you see them. And, I'm glad that we paid up for Tesla today. Like, it didn't hit our level, but who cares? When you like it, you like it. AMD does not hit my level either. It actually breaks through 132, and I didn't do a damn thing about it because we were already long. It gave us the gift right there 3 times. That's what we're talking about. Have confidence like Brendo. That's 3 fills down there. We kept buying more and more and more when it was coming back into that area. We liked the trade. Whether or not it was going to get to the 200 period or not, I don't know. But we liked the trade. The only thing that we're upset right now about is getting out of Tesla. But again, you can't be upset when your trades hit and that hit. So, we'll tweet that out again. And for those of you that are like, maybe it was a fluky trade, I don't know. I mean, here's the trade right here. It's the number one idea. We talked about it. We had our pre-market high break. We had the dip buy at 324. Obviously, that doesn't come in. But I'm always going to put break levels and dip levels because you never know how the market's going to go. And we talked about why we liked it. It's Robotaxi. It's all of that. And there you go, man. It's your trade of the day. It's Tesla. I don't know which one I like more, Tesla, AMD, or Apple. But at the end of the day, they all came into key levels and printed. So, yeah. And then HIMS we didn't get. We didn't get VWAP. If HIMS does come back to VWAP at some point.
I don't know.
It's actually not doing anything right now. So
it went to VWAP once.
Yeah, right there. Oh, in the pre-market? Yeah, it kind of got close right there.
Only in the pre-market.
Yeah, 48 and change there for him. So, all right, it's 10:20, but there goes Tesla right now. We're out of it, but it looks like 350 incoming on Tesla. Adara?
Here's the IWM here, the Russell 2000, green on the day nicely at day's highs, up 0.71%. Beautiful bottoming tail candle here with a low just above that 207.50 level, currently trading around 210.70. So if you got that off the low, nice 3 points in the money. Here's DHAI. Could not see a catalyst here for DIH Holdings, but about a 5% short float. This is also penny stock, currently trading around that 30-cent level. Here's SANA. Mentioned this one earlier. Sana Biotechnology. This one's a previous small cap runner with about a $670 million market cap at a 33% short float. Now it's saying, some positive results here from the 6-month follow-up for one of its, cell therapy studies. And last but not least, TDOC, another one we mentioned earlier today. This one at high of day. Teladoc Health, about a 13.5% short float. I could not find any news on this one, but keep an eye on TDOC. As we send you back to the guys, make sure to like and subscribe.
Yeah, Teladoc, another Kathy Wood special. Though she'll be happy. She'll probably be happy today because she bought some Circle. Circle, you'll see why we jumped into Coinbase when Circle was going. Coinbase wasn't. It broke out Friday's high. Jumped back into it. And it broke 12s. When it failed this last time, Circle here at 275 and is showing signs of breaking trend, I hopped out that moment when we failed underneath 313. So that was a scalp trade. I'm watching this like a hawk. I feel as if we break this trend to the upside, we're going back into VWAP, and I can't see a reason why Coinbase wouldn't follow this to the downside. So we jumped out of the long because of what was happening in Circle. I'm not shorting Circle here, paid for locates, but I'm only ever taking a shot at this short if it does some kind of a ridiculous parabolic stupidity candle or halts and something like that. It has to be extreme to try to revert it, not just a regular trend break. I'd rather try to find something on a trend break to buy that dip. So got out of Coinbase because of what I see over there in Circle, and then it's just going to be on to the next. I've really only traded Indo, AMD. I thought it would be Circle, but it ended up being Coinbase because Circle broke out first. And just to swing back onto the energy names, I said we might be done with INDO. It's still off the lows. We're able to get almost the bottom because it bounced off 6, but it's just not doing anything anymore. I think, we had the move in oil, and maybe it's just going to slow down and not do much of anything at this point. So I'm going to have to throw that one onto the back burner. I think the next trade for me, now that Circle has pulled back a little bit, could be this VWAP play. Ideally, we get back into the volume-weighted average price, or look at that pre-market high at about 260 and all this consolidation. That's the place I'll look for some kind of a bottoming tail to jump into the long. So coin was a scalp trade based on chasing Circle, but you get out once Circle started pulling back.
All right, Tesla right now breaks through 350, but we got 349.99. So I'm not sure if it did break through or not when I was in it. I think it temporarily broke. Now it officially broke. Okay. I don't know, man. We did, so there goes Tesla upside again. So as we continue to move now on Tesla, let's just see where it goes. We had some decent outs up there on Tesla, so let's just keep on waiting to see. 350.34 right now. I don't know. It's not going, though, here on Tesla. So I'm going to put something else out in the 20s. Maybe we do get one more little. I mean, I don't want to take a 20, Phil. All right. But anyways, so let's just wait to see what winds up happening now with Tesla. Hopefully we can break through. There we go. We get a 20. That doesn't really matter. Remember, we're long at 99s here. We're going to wait to see if it can go higher. I was going to stop out if it breaks 348 and change on this one. So we're did not take a very big position there. I mean, if you would have told me earlier that our trade was going to be Tesla 328 and it would be at 350, I mean, we already exited there at 346 and thought we were doing pretty good. But there it is again. Wow, Neil, there's another dollar right there as Tesla now trying to get through 351 right now. Wow, bye-bye Tesla. There it goes. Wow, another dollar right there. Guys, you have to be on this. You have to be looking over here at Tesla, man. I mean, it's been a big trade with momentum and with the most obvious catalyst out. Basically, it was so easy. I saw Obi at the counter there today. We were getting coffees this morning, and he was like, "Have you seen him?" So I'm like, "Whatever. I'm all about Tesla." And there it goes, man. Tesla by far lighting the torch upside there today. But if you want to get behind the scenes, we've had a look at Trade the Pool. The dashboard tracks your progress in real time. Oh boy, it's now $2 that Tesla tracks your practice real time, live stats, profit, and more. You can break down every trade, see your entry, see your exit, how it's played out on the chat. Oh man, check the certificates page for your full summary, achievements, and payouts. In this clip, Michael T, amazing man, amazing trader Michael T, this Michael T guy is. He's already earned over $75,000 in total payouts. Trade the Pool gives you the tools and the capital to go further. Ready to level up? Trade the Pool. Scan the QR code on your screen. Get involved. Stat. There it is, man. It's another $2 right there, man. Yeah, you don't want to be doing too much of that, but there it is. Shout out to DJ Khalid. Again, there goes, I mean, we're in it again, man. Neil's in Qubit over here. We're in Apple. AMD is now $3. Tesla's now another $2 and change. The market is live today, man. It's been live for a while. This has been a great trading market. If you are a day trader, you guys know what we're talking about, man. I mean, this has been a wild ride over the last 8 months. I don't know, since on November, I guess, when we re-elected there. So, or I guess not re-elected, but had that new president come through. I forget his name.
I think you can say
huge move.
You can say re-elected.
Yeah. I mean, basically say whatever, but there it goes, man. Tesla. Hey, when you got the goods, you got the goods, and we've got them over here with TSLA.
So you'll see me in QUBT, sorry, not QBTS, but we're also jumping back into coin when this happened on Circle. So I see Circle break $280, just got to $283. It just continues to go and go and go. I take the local break on coin, kind of the similar move as before, hold it into the prior high. As long as this is above 310, I'm going to like it. But QUBT, quantum computing, not D-Wave, everybody, apologies. I'll mix them up every now and then. This just trended all morning long to the upside. I saw this. I like trend breaks. It's a bit of a chase because the trend broke about here, and I'm getting it at 17.2. I'd like to catch it. Ideally, price would be 17.3 on this instead of 17.10. So unless I get some kind of a push back higher, I doubt I'm able to add to this position as it's a bit of a chase. But I like to play into VWAP, maybe even further down into the 16 even. They priced an offering. It was like a private placement. And that's the reason they're down so far. So I'm going to play this one back into the volume weighted average price here on QUBT. If I can get something in the 1730 range, that's where I'd like to be adding to it, and then giving it about a 1750-ish stop. I don't like even dollar stops, just a few shekels above that 50 level. We're going to go and go ahead and get out of that one. So the only new position, QUBT, and we're back into Coinbase. As long as Circle stays on trend, I'm going to keep trying to follow along with the circle move here in coin. Every time it makes a fresh high, we'll try to take these bounces here on Coinbase, which hasn't been as strong. It's only at 1% to 16, which feels like it doesn't make a lot of sense to me. I think Coinbase should be headed to 350 in its own right. We'll see what happens. But if Circle reverses, everybody, just like last time, I jump out if Circle loses trend.
So Tesla up, Sharif, 9.5%. Right now, 353. So as we get the cackle from Sharif, because no one expected this, but we did expect it as a long, and we took it again. We took it twice. One time at 328, right down there, and well, it was 329 break. And then we took it again at 350 break, and we just got some more out at 353. So just on this reload, we only have now 20% left. I wish we had held it forever and forever and forever. The worst Disney Pixar release of all time happened by Elio, whatever that is. I remember seeing this ad when we were watching, I think it was Minecraft and all that, and I even just looked to my wife. I was like,
is that the one where he's the kid with the alien thing?
I think so, yeah.
Okay. Yeah, that looks terrible.
Well, apparently it's very terrible. So, or I don't know if it's terrible, but it didn't do great there. Pixar, a big swing and a miss, which is why Disney was getting hit pretty violently there early. And I meant to talk about it, and we just got sidetracked with. But we'll that happens around here sometimes. But Disney right there, nice move back up, trying to break out now, breaking through VWAP, breaking through the 50, breaking through the 200. So remember, I mean, what happens at the box office is not the end of the world for Disney. It hasn't been successful there
for a while.
Trying to think of a name for a while, but anyways, there it goes, upside there. Disney is what's been a great name. This is one of those other names though that we had talked about that we double topping. It's already broke through, but you're right into here again. So this 118, 119, something like that, definitely in play here at some point for Disney. So I think there is something about all of this, and getting out when profits are there. So Disney could be another one of those plays, especially if you're worried about world travel or something like that, and people losing confidence in that. Disney has big cruise lines. We just got it another piece. There we go, two more pieces. One more at 352. Remember, if we break lower, so we're getting lighter and lighter, man. Now we have about 8% left of Tesla as it comes back in. So there it is right there, 350. I got you, Andre, man. We ain't in no rush. There it is, 350 breaking. I think we'll get out if it breaks 350, and we will reassess our Tesla trade, man. We've taken about $25 out of this name today. All right, 349.74. If that breaks, let's fly out of Tesla. And before Andre has a heart attack, it's crypto at the desk with Adara.
This is the daily chart here for BTC, and it does not, I mean, it certainly could look better, right? We have a lower high here, decisively lower high, that all-time high around 1,112,000. Then we get a lower high of 110,000. We actually broke below key recent support of 100,000 as of Sunday, as I guess traders addressed or assessed here news of Donald Trump or President Donald Trump announcing strikes here from the U.S. to Iran. We got a low here around 98,000. We've recovered since then, right now staying above 100,000, and that seems to be a level for BTC. So let's see if we're able to continue to hold that 100K, or if we break below. Right now, we're trading around 101.6. Ethereum also took a little bit of a hit over the weekend, but trading higher today, up about 4.5%, and knocking on the door of 2,300. XRP up about 3.7% here, hanging on to that $2 level. BNP and Solana about 1.7% and 5% respectively. So it seems like some of these altcoins are doing a little bit better than Bitcoin and Ethereum, though. Again, Ethereum pretty strong today. Back to you.
Which is a little bit surprising. I actually didn't think, I thought if Bitcoin bounced off 100, it would be good, but I didn't think it would be even better for some of those alts. So good luck for them, although I'm a Bitcoin guy almost exclusively, like the ridiculous and whatever. My crypto's turned into, it was supposed to be 5%, but now it's like 7 point something percent of my portfolio, and it's almost all Bitcoin. At least 80% of it's going to be Bitcoin, but that's just myself. I try to keep it really simple. I'm not an expert. QUBT is now going sideways a little bit. I added at the same price. If we don't get a full position, I kind of backed up the other offer into the mid 30s from just in front of the 30. So I'd still, if it breaks 50, I'd still end up with the same average price. But if it's not going to go and pull me back in front of 17.5, we'll just have to take this consolidation back into the volume weighted average price. Scotty H in the chat. So this what is this, IBO? I don't know what this IBO is that everyone keeps talking about. It's, yeah, you can't, that's a venture stock. What is IBO? Oh, on the Amex, that's where it is. IBO is on the Amex. I'm wondering where this stock is. Just had a halt and came back in. I haven't done any work on this. I know a lot of people have been playing this small cap name. The only small cap I was looking at was Indo this morning. IBO, it's going to do at least 500 million shares at this particular rate, but there's already been a couple of halts. The last halt, look what happened for that halt price. It was at the highs, and then it started respecting the halt price 120 for support. So if it can start closing above the halt price, maybe that gives you some cover. I just hate chasing moves like this at 10:30. It's just a little bit late in the day for a small cap breakers for me. So yeah, good luck if you've already got it, but watch out for that halt price. That can always be a little bit of trouble. So here comes QUBT, trying to pull back into VWAP here. Let me just actually sit on the bit of it and see if we can't get a fill back into the volume weighted average price. They priced direct or private placement was the type of offering. And then nice little bounce on QUBT. I think I missed it at a better price, catching 1730 or 1740, but we joined it back into VWAP here. Just trying to take a little sniper entry.
I'm gonna say big congrats there. Yeah, good move. Always trying to be snipers, that's for sure. What's up to Chef Joe, man? Thank you for your messages on X as well. But there it is, man. Congrats to Chef Joe. We, again, the only trader that I've had on as guest trader of the day in the last 4 years. Shout out to Chef Joe. Yeah, we were talking about Tesla with you on the show, and you always talk about Tesla. So there it is, man. Good move up there today for TSLA. We just got another piece out there again at 52.15s. So remember, if it breaks, we're out. And I realize I've gotten too complacent here with the profits that we've had and let some of them slip down a little bit. So I do have to. We have such a small piece. Like, it's not trading against my net or anything like that. That's part of the problem. Like, I'm just seeing it dip very small portions, and I'm just kind of was watching Tesla, and then I realized, oh my gosh, AMD has fallen back in right into VWAP again. I'm only buying the 200 period, so 130.50. I'm actually going to wait still for 130s. Still for that to come in there. So there it is. Yeah, thank you, Chef Joe, man. We appreciate you as well. Shout out there to Chef Joe. Again, doing great work, and thanks for coming on the show that one day, and thank you for continuously watching us and all your positive comments for sure. All right, so JP Morgan falling back into the 200 period. That's not great. The Nasdaq has been upside today, as has the ES. You can see that the S&P up 0.5, and again, this is like on the backdrop of like a lot of issues right now in the world, and the market's up today, so I don't think anybody was really expecting that to have come through, but it is. And JP Morgan dropping back only up 0.12. So looking at some of the banks, and again, if they're not going to cut rates, that's going to be a problem, I would think. I think banks can do better on their net interest loans if they do drop those rates. So interest margin, we'll find out through XLF and through some of those other names if the banks want to work. But XLF up 0.4, JP Morgan actually down against XLF there today. As I
don't like
wonder
XLF.
If there's, yeah, I know, because they have a Visa and MasterCard and all that. So I've never been in XLF, but I don't know. I think there's a lot overplay there with Visa and stuff. So 370 down to 340 there. Visa's probably at a spot where you can look to pick some up. I don't know exactly where the 200 period moving average is, but that was quite a nice drop on such a solid American business. AXP, I feel like they'll figure it all out. I mean, even if you're going to buy stable coins, how are you going to fund those stable coins? Some people will fund them through credit cards and things like that. So Visa still getting money if that happens. So I like the move down there for Visa. Maybe pick something up. MasterCard has been tippy toppy as well. But it looks like IBIT right there has fallen back in a little bit as Bitcoin gets to that 58.3 marker. If you're just looking at a longer frame, this is 5 minutes. We kind of get right back to where we were on Friday. That kind of Friday low there bounced off of that. So I'm guessing that's around 102. So it looks like for right now, 102 could be the top there for IBIT and crypto names. So, all right, that's about it, man. Tesla, what a great hold again for us on Tesla. It does not break below that level. So let's just continue the money train here, man. AMD is my number 1 stock today. Tesla number 2, then Apple, the lower one there, number 3. But there it goes, right back up to highs again. Let's take one more piece out up here because, as my kids say, why not? 353, another $3 winner. So we had about 20 the first time on Tesla, add another $3 to that. It's about 24 straight to the upside there on TSLA. Neil Wood says Tesla held the 9-period SMA. So yeah, I don't know.
I don't use that. Well, that's the thing about indicators. If it works for you, then use it. We talked about this we had a good question about this on Friday in the aftermarket show. Well, we always get questions like that. What indicators? What do you like? What do you not like? And I just try to say, you'll never hear me say, oh, this indicator is stupid. Don't use that. I can just say whether I've used it or tried it. I'm aware that I think it's like the 9 and the 21 are popular for day traders. I've never used them, but hey, if you find a stock that's holding a trend on something, it gives you maybe somewhere to put a trailing stop, somewhere to buy the dips, which is all very important, especially when you have markets like these where you're trending. There's no red candles yet on the Nasdaq. Just one quick. All right, we'll go back in a quick little second to Adair, I believe, but AMD's pulling back into view. It's underneath the volume weighted average price. Last time we took it here on the front end, you don't want the front end. I want the back end of the trade. Let it make the bottoming tail candle and then hold higher. So this time a little bit more patient, but it still needs to reclaim VWAP. Let's go to Adair.
Very interesting sector board here. A lot of it is going to be green. We're going to start here with transportation, bit of a mixed look. Uber, a little bit flat, but DoorDash up 4%, getting an upgrade this morning from Raymond James. Covered that one in the upgrades and downgrades. And this Uber being flat might have something to do with Tesla, up a whopping 9.5% here after its Robotaxi launch on Sunday. Then we have consumer non-durables performing fairly well. Health technology a little bit mixed, but Eli Lilly bouncing nicely here, up 1% and trying to lead this group to the upside. Then we have finance a little bit mixed, as mentioned earlier by Sean. We're going to, of course, have these finance names on watch, even these stablecoin related catalysts that have actually led to nice upside in tickers like COIN and CRCL. Retail trade a bit mixed here. Costco looking pretty strong, as is Home Depot and Lowe's. And then let's get to electronic technology. Broadcom down, Nvidia slightly down here, and a lot of these semiconductor names flat. We did have a story here suggesting that South Korea might delay U.S. trade deals here over threats to its China-based chip makers, so that's something that could be on watch. We also just had comments coming through from Nvidia CEO Jensen Huang, apparently saying the UK's AI system is, quote, perfect for takeoff. So bit of an interesting note there for sure. Technology service faring slightly better. Netflix up 1%. Palantir up almost 3%. Back to you.
Oh, man.
There's a name that we didn't really talk too much about in the pre-market, but the cover you get with Palantir is both it's a growth stock and it's a defense stock. So when things go a little bit haywire, it's almost like you get I don't want to call it a free pass to go into the long on it, but it certainly gives it a little bit of cover. And obviously it's having a very, very strong day. Friday was a bit of a different story for Palantir at 142. This was a real candle off the open, by the way. 142 got a huge rejection. I saw this at the open. It was heavy selling on a lot of the breakout moves to the upside. this feels like it could be a bit of a squeeze play if we can hold past where that selling was on Friday. Remember, it was witching on Friday, so you get a lot of these crazy reverses, and those levels can come in and try to mean something. All right, Indo is bouncing at the wrong level. VWAP is a line on a chart, but somebody saw it, well, not Indo, sorry, QUBT. Somebody's deciding that it's just going to hold at 16.8. So it's a brick wall at 16.8 for the last 10 minutes now. Holding 17.10 into that. Like I said, VWAP is a line on a chart. If we break this trend back out, pretty simple. There's your top, connected on the 3-minute, you close above, I just get out. So now all of a sudden, because there's a wall here at 16.8, I'll hold through the break and see how far it goes, but the trailing stop just becomes the trend line here, which means it can't turn into a loser. That'll be just above 17 bucks on that name. Indo, which I accidentally showed, I still want to look for more opportunities here, but it's not doing a lot. You've got 6 to about 660, a good 10%, good 10% move either direction. This might be the level, not VWAP. But like I said, VWAP's a line on a chart. If the selling is somewhere else, maybe you just join instead of hoping you'll get the line on your chart like we always like to look for. I love VWAP, but if we don't get there, I got to find a short somewhere else.
Yeah, I mean, that's exactly part of almost all of trading is the intuition and the actions that you take when you see something. It's reaction. Like I didn't have 350 marked down for Tesla, okay? But when it starts to go back up to the upside like that and it breaks it through 350, we take the long and now it's $5. You know, we didn't have AMD written down here at 130. We had it at 128. But when we saw that it was resisting this, and I liked the trade, saw the market come back down, thought it was a great opportunity to get some long there on AMD, took it. Right? Apple was 200. I mean, that came in perfectly. Actually, Apple's at a spot where we should probably be thinking about getting some out there as well. So, you know, to me, it's just about getting bigger and better. And to me, that's why we talk about getting bigger. It's like if you see the trade that you like, you know, you kind of need to think about taking them I mean, you're here to make some money, right? And so if you like the trade, join the trade, but don't get FOMO. If you miss it and maybe your levels don't hit, you don't need it. Like we only went long on Tesla right now, up 10% there on the Robotaxi debut. We knew we liked the trade. It came in, so we took it, right? We took it twice. Look at DraftKings. This is again one that you could trade DraftKings long. You know, we had it on the upgrade sheet. Look at this move that we have on DraftKings. I'm long in the mid 30s there. I think it's 36 and change. So it's a good move up there for DraftKings. You know, we like the dip buy. We talked about, you know, the first mover advantage there with DraftKings. Like customer acquisition, as long as you're in their book, you're probably going to stay there. So, you know, I like DraftKings upside. Not a tariff name, nothing like that. Boom goes the dynamite, huge move up. But I didn't have it written on here. I wasn't looking at it. So is it a missed opportunity? Yes, but you know, there's so many stocks out there that you have to play with the momentum that you're looking for. I saw in the chat there, Voyager is actually a play that I don't mind making. Like I kind of like this name, Voyager. I mean, from what I know, I got to get into it and I got to dig in and find out. Because this is a space name, air defense, space defense, things like that. Like, if it's not working now, then maybe, I don't want to say it's not going to work, but maybe there's a lot more downside. So we talked about Circle being the greatest IPO to trade, I think, of all time. I've sort of coined that. This might be the opposite. This one does not want to go. We don't really have a retake here on Voyager of any major key levels. I mean, it tried to take 50 right there last days and didn't happen. So, yeah, I don't know. I would say this move down. Up 2% is nice. But, yeah, this is, you know, the fact that we opened at 70 or something like that.
4 weeks.
60 up to 70, down to 45. Yeah, what does CoreWeave?
Well, not all IPOs do what Circle did. CoreWeave, the only difference between Voyager and CoreWeave is CoreWeave actually did have an initial push, but look what it did after. It basically...
CoreWeave doesn't look like Voyager.
No, I know it doesn't, but it's this downward move back into the low that I'm basically looking at here. Sometimes it's... the hype goes out of it after the IPO as everyone's focused on something else, and just when you forget about the stock, that's when it happens. And this is exactly, if it failed the low and the second
Oh
it
my
started
God,
holding
Tesla.
higher, there's your 40 breakout. So I think you could see something like that in the Voyager. Like I said, you can always try to sniper in and out of some of these things. So the second I saw, we talked about the trailing stop over there in QUBT. That one is going to come right out at the 17 level. Again, somebody was buying at 16.8. So we'll just take it there. We got 17.10 into 16.8. We take the rest out at 17 even. It couldn't get to the volume weighted average price, but it's now broken that trend line. So I'm out of that sucker. The only thing I'm looking for right now is either Circle or Indo back to square one. Circle seems to be stalling out. It has not even sniffed the volume weighted average price. I think it's in a bit of a pullback mode. Seems like the volume's no longer as crazy as it was earlier in the morning. So I think the dip could be coming in. This is about the time that it did it did a dip underneath VWAP at about 11 o'clock when we were able to catch it on Friday. So it's about that same time that we'll look for this next available dip here on Circle. 15 points, not too bad. And we haven't traded HIMS, I know, but I think that was probably a good decision because HIMS, while it was on my list, you can say coming into prices or not, but it didn't actually get to VWAP cleanly, and it never got to 52, which is 52 or 55. But it is very close to $42, which if you zoom it out, come back here, 42 is the next significant level on the daily. So I'm still looking for an SSR bounce off of 42, down 30%. I don't think it falls forever. Looking to catch a bid in a couple of bucks. It's already bounced off 43, but still a very big downtrend here for him. It's taking it on the chin. You just got to play with the trend or wait for the trend to break here. I'm waiting at 42.
All right, guys. And I think today's a good example of like, no matter, what style of trading you're doing, you could be profitable. You see, Neil and I almost complete opposite here. Like this is $6. We've taken $26 on Tesla today, and trying to hold out like AMD, Apple, Tesla. Meanwhile, you have, smaller symbols as well being able to trade. This is why we talk like find your groove and find what you're doing. And as long as, you look down and you're like, okay, this is working out for me, that's all that matters. The trade style has to be your own. And if it's not, then, you don't ever want to copycat anybody because it's not, you can copycat the trades. It's literally why we put out, and I hope you did, but it's the entries and the exits and all that kind of stuff. You got to be very, very careful with them. And like I was telling you, I have less than 5% left of Apple. Oh yeah, by the way, Tesla, as Neil was talking, we just got basically our last piece out. So now we again have 10% left of our Tesla trade. That's the 350 break. We had 329 already for Tesla, right? So that's like and again, this is what I'm talking about, different style. You could have somebody, maybe Joe's still long down here at 330. Like could be some traders that are still holding this and don't scalp out. There's going to be other traders that ride these waves. There's going to be other traders that put on trades and they'll lose small, win small, whatever. It's about like finding the style, getting comfortable in your own skin and making those trades, right? And so, that's what we're doing right there. Yeah, I was waiting for some people to ask, but I'll attend this in the chat here. This is the Myrtle Beach Pelicans single A team. Right here. So this is a hat from my brother who we went to Myrtle Beach. Neil was there for my bachelor party. So he actually got me this hat. So shout out to South Carolina. Stand up right here. We're repping South Carolina and Myrtle Beach. South Carolina. Right there today. So yeah, man, this is what we're doing, man. Shout out to everybody at Myrtle Beach. Myrtle Beach Pelicans, single A team. All right, it is Adara.
What franchise?
We're going to go, I think it's the Chicago Cubs, Neil.
There you go.
How dare you not know that?
It's look, I know some affiliates, but I'm a baseball fan, but it's hardcore to know all of the affiliates. I know a few out there. Yeah. I can't think of anybody big at that level right now.
Shout out to my bro for hooking up the hat. That's
what up,
sure.
Mike?
Okay, let's go back over to Adara, then we'll have our favorite segment, and we'll find out, Joe, what's for lunch.
Now, usually we look at the US dollar on the daily chart for this segment, but I wanted to use the 3-minute today because of this steep drop to the downside. I want to contextualize that. Now, why did we make this move at 10 a.m.? Well, that's because we have Fed's Michelle Bowman coming out and saying that she's open to cutting rates as soon as the July FOMC meeting. if inflation pressures stay contained. So this could be potentially a good look. Now, Michelle Bowman is the second Fed speaker suggesting that they're open to cutting rates as early as July. Now, how did that impact these Fed futures? Because I can tell you it certainly did. What I like to do here is not only look at the percentages, but also how much they've changed in the past day, week, month. So right now, 77% of participants expecting that we're going to hold rates steady. So still overwhelmingly not pricing a cut for July. But if you look here at the bottom, on Friday, 85.5% of participants were expecting that these were going to be held. So we actually now have a decrease in participants expecting a hold in July and a slight uptick in participants that are expecting a July cut. Now, what about September? 64.3% of participants now are expecting a 25 basis point cut in September. That is up from 60.3 participants on Friday. So basically, after these comments from Fed Michelle Bowman, we get an increase here in people expecting a July cut and an even sharper increase in that September cut. Right now, though, the only cut priced in here by the Fed futures is a cut in September. Back to you.
Thank you very much, Adara. Thank you to Big Smile for the super chat. Shout out to PB Pablo. A good song, still North Carolina, but appreciate you right there. We're not taking our shirts off and spinning it around our heads like a helicopter.
Only Sharif.
Well, Sharif might.
Only Sharif.
Joey Options, yeah, he might feel it, but no, we ain't doing that around here, but we can have a little bit of fun. Big shout out to, we appreciate
Only
you
on
for
Instagram.
sure. On the Insta?
Yeah, Sharif was.
Or watch others do.
If you guys want to go get your fill of Sharif, you can go
I thought
see
he's
him
more
on
of a
Instagram.
TikTok guy.
No, he posted
I know,
on
I know,
Instagram.
I know.
Yeah, this man. So I can show it. I can show it up here soon if he wants me to. Oh, it's gone. It's a story, he said.
Oh, it's okay.
All right.
It's all right.
Yeah, but here it is right here. Go find him on Instagram. Here he is right here. Here's Sharif coming through. Yeah, I can't click on the story. My account's already watched the story. So, I just kept on pausing it and checking it out and all that. But there's something similar.
Pause is the right
Something
word.
similar. Here it is right here. This is 82 weeks ago. So Sharif obviously is, he's a lot better than he was here. I mean, I don't know what he's even doing here. Sharif, you should start working out a little bit more.
Clearly, you got to put in more work.
Put in more work.
Or at least eat a few more
Sharif.
eggs. Maybe.
Right there. So shout out to Sharif. We can. Oh, there he is again. Take your shirt off there, Sharif. Come on, man. But anyways, yeah, there it is. Having lots of fun on Instagram. Go check it out. All of us. Well, I think it's just really Sharif and I posting stuff over there. So go have a look. We're doing the best with the most. But right now, we do have everybody. What's for lunch? Yeah, man, you'll see me posting about, I post stuff about, we were Minecraft with the family the other day, right there. Okay, what's for lunch? Let's go, right here. What is for lunch today? Well, we already saw was cheese omelets for breakfast. That was pretty good. And today, I don't know, I'm not super excited about this, but it does kind of go in touch with what we've been doing here today. Oh, by the way, I did average in a little bit more of AMD right here, but we have lemon and herb chicken with vegetable pilaf. Charred Brussels sprouts, which we had last week, so I don't know if those are coming back again. Red peppers, and again, the chef's choice salad. So not bad. That's what's for lunch. We had it. There it is, man, with only 4 minutes to go. Just real quickly here, those of you looking for trades that I've been doing, we're back into AMD right now. It comes into the 200 period moving average. We're going to take that. If this breaks 130.50, we're gone. I just don't want to give too much back. If it does, start to feel a little heavy, we're going to get out at 130.50. We're going to watch out for 130 right there coming through again. So AMD 130, 130.50 is my stop on that. So we'll wait, and that's about it, man. Tesla's been huge. I'm still up more on AMD than we are on Tesla.
Shout out to both trades for sure. I wanted to highlight something in the chat. Someone was talking about X. There we go. SOX, SMH pulling back in. Frank Jones, Intel, Micron, AMD pulling back. There have been some chip names that have been going the other direction. First off, I did reload about the same price on QUBT. I want to play it back into the same level, but we also want to give big shout out to OGEN. Important work being done there because each year 3.8 million concussions are reported in the U.S., yet there's still no FDA-approved treatment. OGEN is changing that. Orogenics has the first-in-class intranasal drug designed for rapid brain access, with the concussion treatment market projected to reach $8.9 billion by 2027. Orogenics is uniquely positioned to lead the way. Learn more and schedule a meeting today. Scan the QR code you see in front of you. That's OGEN on the NYSE. Adara?
Keep an eye here on the market. Nasdaq here with a little bit of a drop. We have comments coming from the chief of staff of Iran's armed forces saying that, quote, our response to U.S. attacks will be proportionate. So Iran here responding to the U.S. Keep an eye on this market. A little bit of a push to the downside, bit of a double top here for the Nasdaq. Back to you.
All right. Yeah.
How
so
exactly?
We only have
Proportionate.
I wasn't paying too much.
No, it just says Iran saying they'll do proportionate.
Well, that's in their
and it's
opinion.
just something that they say, literally impossible.
Yeah, they can't. They
Literally
can't drop.
impossible.
They don't drop those B-52s, but we don't know. We don't know what's going on with even the damage that was done there. I mean, we're just taking their word for it that it was
That they got what they
said. Those things don't go down that deep. It's like 61 meters or something. So I'm not. Possible, not that much damage done really at all. I'm sure there was. If this breaks 350, we're out. I have less than 5% left of Tesla. I mean, we talked about having 10%, then it came up to 356. We got out of half. Now we have that 5% left. AMD, we said we're not going to be married to this, so this comes out in a minute if it breaks through 131. We are going to average in a little bit more down here in like the 80s, like into here somewhere, if we're able to get AMD on a dip. I'm not sure we're going to. And then Apple, I'm not reloading this at all. Again, we have such a small piece left of all of this. Let's just get out of Apple right here. It doesn't really even affect me, so might as well get out so we don't have to worry about it. We're gonna go for a walk here this after this. I actually forgot my stuff. We were washing the gym stuff and it's still at home there.
Lots of water.
So we gotta go get that. Yeah, we're gonna go for a walk. We'll see everybody around Queen's Park. Yeah, with only 30 seconds left. Apple, that did not come out there actually. But we are gonna try to get some Apple out around $200.50. So if that comes out, that's gonna be what hits next. That'll be a small winner on our last, there it is, on our last couple percentage points. But Apple, big trade, man. Good trades all around there today. And hey, what's up, Nimrod? Tipping here. Yeah, we can do better than this, but I don't know. I'm not a graphics guy. So if anybody has a what's for lunch thing, yeah, we should have a better graphic for it and we'll work on it. These guys are busy over here doing other random things. So shout out to all of that. And when they have some more time, we appreciate that, Nimrod. We'll work on a better graphic for you.
Look, man, that's what gets done. I mean, Fabian's always hard at work. We got that new symbol battle that we're doing here. Just want to quickly, I'll point one thing before we go over. Frank Jones, you were asking about SMH, and we went into the ad read there. Just wanted to point out for SMH, it's at VWAP as some chips are stronger than others, so it's a bit of a mixed board. But look at Friday's resistance on SMH. This is holding up as support. So this is actually still a little bit bullish overall if you're looking at the individual groups. And just not to pick on them, but similar thing happening. Like Intel's actually falling almost exactly. We've got Marvell looking a little bit weak with AMD relatively strong and NVIDIA kind of in the middle here. NVIDIA's the one. It's weird. It's underneath that prior high, but this could be the one to go. That's a bull flag on NVIDIA. And with SMH at VWAP and some of the chip names looking a little bit weak, I think a break away from 144.5 sets up really, really nicely here for NVDA. Just remember 146 has been a sell zone if you take a shot at it. Let's go to the midday, boys. It is Joey Options. It is Sharif. We'll be back at 2 o'clock, everybody.
AMD reload.
Get him, Donald.
You are fake news.